Yay! We did things right this time, motherfuckers. We're here. Everything's all good. I'm a happy camper. Probably not that happy, though. I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually really depressed. It's okay, though. It's all good. Because I'm over here with you guys, talking about some movies, a bunch of shit we don't give a fuck about. SoundCloud, thank you for watching. Or not watching, listening. I don't know. I'm getting my fucking eyes and my ears.
One day he'll get that right.
He's trying his best. Let's give him his chance.
I
He
guess.
fucks up every week. He keeps
No,
saying
I don't.
that's not people are watching.
I never got my ears and my eyes fucked up before, Alan. I never got that confused. You're the one who gets that confused with your eyes and your ears. You're the one with the bald spot on your fucking beard. You're over here yelling at me.
At least I have enough hair on my face.
I got lots of hair on my face. I got lots of hair on my
proof.
face. You got
You
no hair
cannot
on your
prove it.
balls. You're a little boy. You're a little
You
boy,
don't know
little boy
that.
bitch.
If I have this much hair on my face, how much hair do you think I have
I
on?
miss this. I miss the camaraderie, the love, the company. Like, this is the shit I missed.
Well,
I had a
welcome
bit ready because I just watched the Dora the Explorer trailer and I was like losing my will to live, and then Nick just had to bring it back.
Oh, well, you know what? I like that trailer. I'm glad you lost your will to live, sir.
You
because
didn't watch that trailer. Don't lie to me.
I know I didn't, but I like it, though.
I like it because I hate it.
Exactly. That's how this works, because I have good taste and you have not so great taste. But that's okay.
Coming from the
I
man that
still-
likes Transformers too.
I never. Oh, that's not what I hate the most. You bastard. People, thank you for watching the Midnight Chat. Yeah, no, it is midnight. Man, I was gonna say midweek, and I don't know. I don't know. I'm sleepy.
Get your shit together.
Leave me alone. Oh my god, the Facebook chat's over there just chilling and whatnot. Adrian's saying she just saw Us last night. She said that was a solid full price. I will tell you if I
Gave us a full price. That's good. I'm glad she likes us.
Exactly. Oh.
Boo!
I will not promise that's the last time I say it.
Yeah, wow, you would do. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I would make an us joke with us involved.
Okay, did you write this?
I know SoundCloud don't comment that much unless they want to just give us helpful advice or just give us some love, and I appreciate it from y'all. But can you start really criticizing this man and his jokes so he gets better?
That's the only way he's gonna stop.
They really
count as a joke?
Yes, it is.
I don't think that counts as a joke.
Yeah, that was just a comment, a dumb one at that. That was bad as fuck. It literally stopped me from continuing on what I was doing. I actually had my shit planned in my head about what the fuck I'm gonna say. That stopped me in my motherfucking tracks.
I literally had to start stroking my beard, just like,
what?
Wait, what?
Yeah, my beard. I have a bigger beard than both of you.
Oh, fuck that.
Like, neither of you guys can grow hair.
Ganja and Nick, sure. That's.
Hey, look, I can talk shit all you want, but I'm impressed with just like Karl Marx beard. She got that shit that grows all the way down to her, like the chesticles, I guess.
Chesticles?
Yeah.
Well, they're soft and sensitive. You don't want to hurt them, so yeah, chesticles.
Exactly. No, here's the thing,
I'm not even gonna.
For a person, by the way, for a person who does grow the most hair out here, why haven't you never really had a beard? Because right now you just have a goatee.
He grows the most hair on his face. I will beat him at the pubes.
Why would you say that?
Nobody wins in that situation.
Right now, motherfucker. Hold on.
Are you two 4chan motherfuckers are gonna argue about who has the most pubic hair?
He just brought it up.
Hey man, we're taking this back to middle school days. I got more hair than you.
What?
I know. Remember when you used to be proud of that shit back in the day? It's like I got hair.
No, I when I first saw my first like 3 hairs, I was like, I'm a man.
I never had that problem. It just kind of grew in like a night.
Yep. No.
Not all of us have the luck of being a hairy 5-year-old, Alan.
That's not luck. That's the lack of
It
luck.
really isn't, honestly. It's a constant problem.
Like fucking chia pet and shit. As soon as he hit water, that shit just sprouted.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like judge, and I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. Like I'm happy that you have hair, but the thing is though, is like I don't want that much hair. I want to be walking around with my shit getting tangled on the fucking doorknob and everything. Why would I want that? That's horrible. Stupid idiot. You dummy head.
Yeah, you are. I'm glad you're admitting this.
Okay,
but to answer your earlier question of why I've never grown out a beard, it's honestly because like I shave the under part of here where most of the beards grow. It gets super fucking itchy if I don't. Like I have to shave it at least like once a week to make sure it doesn't. Because I was always wondering like how do people, you know, like Sammy and Julian grow out that big fucking beard? And Jen had to tell me it's like, oh, they use, you know, conditioner and various products to keep it from itching. But that's the biggest problem is it itches so much. And it's like I like the cut I have now. I used to have a goatee if you remember back in the day, but then it just kind of grew it out and I liked it.
Yeah, Julian's saying he has more hair than both of you guys do, all on his back. So that might be a guy like putting his face up against his back.
Well, that's just Sasquatch.
Yeah,
well,
that's pretty disgusting.
Julian is part of it is from the fucking Middle Eastern area, so yeah, you gain a lot of hair.
I know your point is like, hey, I got more hair than you, but the joke was it was back in the days of middle school where you wanted to have more pubes than your friend, not have more back hair than your friend. That shit got you made fun of in gym.
Yeah, I just like how we got 3 people now that put themselves on blast. I got more hair in my balls.
Like,
I got more hair in my ass.
Walk around an 8th grade gym locker and not get clowned on because you looking like fucking Sasquatch and Bigfoot's cousin walk through.
You want to have the fucking more hair competition? Go fucking find Justin, Justin Zarian.
Oh man,
Like that motherfucker makes me look like Ganja.
Wait,
yo,
are you
he's
serious?
got that thick hair too, so it comes out his chest like fucking like little meats and shit from Taco.
Dude,
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
it was in Austin, and he's just wearing the shirt, and you see all the hair. I'm like, man, you're making me look like Ganja right now.
I can hold
Like,
that motherfucker down, shave him, make a fur coat, bro.
Wow, dude, that's actually pretty
I don't
good
get it
fucking
either.
business to get involved in. I would sell all that fucking hair to a bunch of
Look at
hairless
her
motherfuckers.
Mormon right here, bro. Feel that softness. Feel that softness.
Yeah, and just like twirl it in your fucking like your index finger, and just like and do it so much where it's like you got rubber. You know, have you ever done that with a rubber band and you just like get all that blood just rushing to the fucking tip? You know what I mean? I love doing that
What
shit.
the fuck are you doing? Shoot hair?
Sorry, we're talking about hair, and you're fucking getting off on your fucking blood loss.
And then you just
You like that rope? You just tie your shit.
and then you just bite on your lip, bro, and you just go.
Let go in. What?
Yeah, man, and then I wrap a rope around my neck, man. Auto rock asphyxiation, that's fucking great. Like,
I'm fucking pass out.
And you just put a playlist of Nirvana and Soundgarden on, dude. Fucking great.
yeah,
Black Hole Sun. No,
Sad ass nut. Take me home.
the country road.
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, everybody. God damn.
You should be. This is literally your fault.
I know it is. Well, no, actually, it was Jet's fault because Jet started talking about her fucking hair.
You just hasn't said a word this whole podcast.
She said that's the whole thing to start the beard thing. You don't focus. It's like you in the fucking movies. You don't focus.
No, but the beard thing was started by you asking about I don't go beard.
No, she said it. You're stupid.
It's not real. We've been telling you this for months, man.
Oh my god. Do 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 do
fake.
do do.
You have to let me go.
It
The accident
wasn't your
was
fault.
3 months ago.
Am I the only one
It
that's
wasn't
hearing
your
this?
fault. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
Don't you do
It wasn't
this
your
to me.
fault.
You gotta, that recording of that fucking voicemail, man. You gotta stop playing it.
You know what's fucked up is that the reason why this is actually scary to me right now, legitimately, is the fact that once upon a time, Ganja thought I went fucking nuts because I'm playing Marvel Spider-Man, and Trey, who's a huge fucking fan of Spider-Man, I thought he knew everything about it.
Context, bro. Me and Trey are literally just being a couple idiots, just making jokes to each other. And real seriously, Nick just comes and, hey, Trey, got a question for you. Oh, what's up, Nick? You hear the demons?
I did not say that. I knew you were gonna fuck that up.
I mean, I kind of would dig on this one. Got to fuck up a lot of stories.
Oh,
Things apart.
Do you know the demons? And we're just looking like, what the fuck is this we're talking about? What demons? What demons
No, and
right
then-
now, Nick? He goes,
Yeah.
yeah, man, the demons. You know, the ones in Spider-Man.
Oh no, you forgot how Trey evolved in this. She's like, oh yeah, the demons, Nick, right?
Yeah,
Tell
he
us
agreed
about
with
the
me. He was like,
demons.
yeah, the demons? That's cool. Like, Trey was being a really good friend and trying not to show me out as being a fucking psychopath in front of everybody. Which, Trey, thank you very much for helping me out there. But at the same time, I'm like, he went with it, so I was like, oh yeah, he knows about the demons too. He hears them. Like, that's great.
That's one of my favorite stories. I'm glad I'm not a part of, because if I was there, I would have known exactly what Nick was talking about, because I played the game a lot.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was not there, because this is great.
No, I was listening to what, man, whistling.
He was listening to demons.
I just started whistling. I just started freaking out. I don't know what was happening.
That's how he
Oh,
gets
that
done with
happened
his...
to me the other fucking day.
What?
There was a not in regards to demons, but there was a raccoon outside of we have a glass door to separate into our garage, and there's a raccoon there. Now there's a why are y'all laughing? Anyway, I tell you my fucking story. So there's a raccoon there, so I go up to the fucking window and I start tapping on it to shoo it off. It eventually goes, comes back, and I start yelling at the thing, like go, like yelling at it. And my mom looks to the glass door and doesn't see anything out there. Now she's looking like I lost my fucking mind. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's a raccoon." I'm like, "Is there a?" She's like, "Is there a raccoon? I can't see it." Like, luckily it came back. My mom's looking like I'm fucking crazy and lost my mind.
Alan, the raccoon died months ago. You gotta let him go.
No, I kept coming
Let
back
him
and there are
go,
multiple
Alan.
people.
Like, that one little context, I missed it. So all I heard was, yeah, so what happened to me yesterday with the demons? What?
Yeah,
No, man, like, that's happened to me before. I remember I was trying to fuck with my mom and sister one time. Man,
you're what?
I was trying to fuck around with my mom and sister one time.
Okay.
And I'm
Holy shit! Yeah, that little bit of context, gotcha.
You were trying to fuck his mom and his sister one time?
You guys just keep fucking up now. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, you guys are talking about fucking demons. You guys are talking about fucking mom's friends and
and shit. No fucking Ruthless says I've been gone for 2 weeks and y'all lost your collective minds. We
Look,
never had collective.
Look, I was trying to tell the story, but the demons were talking and making me laugh. Right? I was sitting there trying to roll a blunt, and I was like, I'm gonna mess with them a little. So I just started talking to the weed, and I'm like, so we gonna smoke you, right? Yeah, we gonna smoke you. We gonna light this shit up? Yeah, so we done, we gonna light this shit up. I'm gonna get real high? Yeah, we gonna get real high, bro. We gonna smoke this shit up till we get done. Now I looked over, and I think I was acting too good, because they just looking at me all terrified and shit. My mom goes, are you good? Do we need to come with some guidance?
Why would you do this? This is your own fucking fault.
They legit thought I had a psychosis moment, and they think I'm just lying. And also, Ruthless, whoop whoop.
This is your fucking fault. In both me and Nick's situations, that was just something taken out of context where we were perfectly normal, but just the wrong context happened. You actively went out of your way to act like a crazy person.
Yeah, no, that is your goddamn fault. But I appreciate it though. Fucking no, man, I would not do that because everyone knows I'm fucking crazy anyway. So if I get caught doing something fucking weird, it's like that's it. I'm gonna be in the fucking straitjacket and I'm fucked. But here's the thing though, man. So I just talking about this first thing because this is not even something we planned. You just start bringing this up and I'm like, okay, well whatever. And I didn't watch it yet because fuck no. But you would think I'm going crazy that I'm about to tell you that there's a trailer for a movie called Dora and the Lost City of Gold, and apparently it was done by Michael Bay. Like,
wait, is that part true too? That it's a Michael Bay production?
I could have sworn it was.
it is.
I thought that was fake. Oh my god. I honestly thought this whole thing was fake. I legit thought this entire fucking thing was fake. That this Dora the Explorer thing was just a fucking April Fool's joke.
Yeah, what the so you watched the trailer, man, or at least some of it, I would believe.
Yeah, I saw it right before the fucking show.
I mean,
like,
for
okay,
one, Dora is way too old to be Dora, for one. I gotta tell you that right now, just looking at it, I'm like, okay, why do they have her at that age where I think it might be safe for Michael Bay to show her, like, half naked at some point? You know what I mean?
She's
Like,
in high school now, so I guess that's acceptable.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. This is fucking ridiculous. Like, before you continue on, because I know you're gonna go on a big old thing, and I do not blame you, but Jack, I'm gonna ask you, right away, do you think there's any chance at all like that Michael Bay can do something with Dora the Explorer that's actually gonna be fucking like cool and good for kids? Like, do you think that could be a chance?
This was a top-rated fucking show on Nick Jr.
Yeah.
Literally at the end of the trailer, you know what they say?
What?
Film not yet rated.
Ooh, why? What can you do with something like this? You know it's not gonna be a bunch of explosions or death, so obviously not yet rated for a certain reason.
They have her with knives. They have like
what?
They have them getting fucking kidnapped.
Yeah.
They have her pulling out fucking like dynamite and like flares and shit from her backpack. Boots looks fucking terrible.
But
like that awkward humor that they have in like the fucking high school movies and shit, where it's just like, I'm all out of my element here, but I came from someplace. Oh, I came from the jungle, so I'm certainly out of my element. Type humor, like, my god.
Okay,
yeah.
Here's the thing, man, because, like, am I missing something? Was there some point with Dora the Explorer that there was something there that could be made into an action movie? Because, like, I'm looking at this like Tomb Raider or something, like...
Yeah, oh my god, you're not even fucking kidding, because at one point they pull out the fucking pickaxe from the Tomb Raider movies. But to explain your earlier question of why the hell she's kind of a teenager now, is basically what this movie's trying to be is this is like when she's grown up. So like the whole thing of her just randomly going, across the jungle, do all that stuff is when she's younger. This, she's more of a teenager going to high school. So the movie starts off with her being basically shipped to probably New York or some shit so they could do a concrete jungle joke. But then as soon as she's there, like, to go through a security fucking thing, motherfuckers pulling out, like, flares and, like, hiking gear, going, you can't bring this in the fucking school for a fucking joke.
Dynamite, too.
Yeah, and dynamite and all
when
this.
has fucking Dora ever used any of those things?
I don't know, but it's, like, again, trying to show it's, like, this is how she survived the fucking jungle. The whole fish out of water Tarzan fucking story. But then they go on a fucking field trip, and she gets kidnapped with a bunch of her fucking friends, and you have the one girl there that her entire job is to just point out how completely ridiculous it is. Oh, of course she has a knife. Oh, of course she knows this random monkey. Oh, of course she knows how to survive this shit. And it's like, it's trying to be a mix of a serious movie and a parody at the same fucking time.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I don't mind it being kind of a parody or making fun of it or something, but it almost looks like it's taking it seriously. Like, I know there's a part where like she just got stuck on the fucking bus, and you guys probably heard me laughing a little bit as this, but it gets to a point now where I'm just like, okay, you are just trying to take a property that has some kind of value to it, so all the eyes and ears will go, oh my god, Dora, and then you just do whatever the fuck you want to do. you know, it's just like with Transformers. Like, I'm not gonna like complain like, oh, my childhood. Dora's not my childhood. I don't give a fuck about Dora. But I do feel sorry for the people that might actually give a fuck about Dora, like Jed over here. I don't know if you actually care. I know you're knowledgeable of it.
Oh
I don't know
no,
if you
like
care.
when Dora first came on, I was in the age range, so I guess a lot of people were watching it. I think, but I was off. I think I was watching like other stuff on Cartoon Network during the time because I never really got into the whole like, which way do we go? That way.
They are gonna do that in the movie. Which way do we go, guys? And Frank goes, "Why are you looking at me?"
Yeah.
Go that way, Dora.
Okay. Oh my God. So what's the monkey, the CGI monkey's name in this movie?
Boots.
Guess who's playing?
Danny
the voice?
Trejo?
Man.
Yeah, the
that
chat
is
said
the
it
weirdest-
actually.
Did I? Oh, does it say in the trailer?
Yeah,
Or did
JP. No, JP said it was gonna be Danny
Man,
Trejo.
JP, I was setting up a bit, motherfucker.
Oh, I'm sorry.
all over that.
God damn it,
Sorry.
Danny Trejo.
What?
Are you fucking kidding me?
What you gonna go with? That was you, JP.
You
Yeah,
gotta
God
put
damn it, Danny
some
Trejo.
kind of. You gotta put.
You saved us.
No, he
I
did
didn't-
not.
I didn't even hit the joke.
There
No,
was
because
no-
Trejo.
What?
Yeah, Danny Trejo. That's what you just said, right?
No, that's his name, Danny Trejo.
I think you call him Danny Trejo.
No.
No, because you guys can't think outside your dicks.
Wait,
I mean, I certainly can't.
man, no more jokes from you, Alan. I'm fucking
This
mad.
open your fucking ears.
Right now, you did not see this right now.
Y'all fucked up. I didn't.
Man.
Yeah, shoot this motherfucker.
Nah,
I mean,
man,
I just wasn't paying attention.
You emphasized Trejo
No,
way too hard.
Y'all heard what you wanted to hear.
Yeah, thank you. Julian caught that too.
Julian doesn't. Julian hates my fucking ass. He
Yeah.
ain't gonna fucking defend me.
No, I'm sorry, but I caught that shit way before Julian said anything. So that's like
No,
3-4
y'all are.
people
Yeah,
that
you
fucking
two
caught
Chuckle
that
Brothers. You're back for one fucking show and you suddenly
apologize.
did the same old shit.
Audience. You apologize to them right now.
Fuck the audience. No, I'm kidding.
shit. Oh my god.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So at what point in this joke did Felix call you and then you guys go to WrestleMania? That's what I'm wondering. Like,
I don't know. Y'all tell me. You like that shit?
He's gonna break down and be like, "Is this racist, Nick? Is this racist?"
Is this racist? No, it's sexist or whatever. I don't know. You are prejudiced. You call him a Trejo. I'll make fun of Mexicans and shit. But here's the thing, though, man. Like, Trejo is actually a pretty good idea or a good choice, I think, to play somebody like that. You know, I don't have nothing wrong with Danny Trejo. So, you know.
This little small ass monkey who's supposed to be wearing rain boots, but isn't. That's the voice you think of?
Well, I mean, like, it's just that voice, for one. Danny Trejo is actually a pretty good actor. I know people just, like, look at him like, oh, it's Machete, haha.
Because he's a voice actor.
Well, no, but it doesn't mean you don't have to be a voice actor to be a voice actor sometimes. I think. Okay, let me ask you this: Beyonce, she's not a voice actress, but she's fucking gonna be great in Lion King.
Oh God, just so they can get a sing number.
No, it's probably because she's a good voice actress too. You could do other
No,
shit.
because again, like people like to think, oh, voice actor, you just walk into a fucking booth and say a few lines. You have to. Sometimes it's way harder to be a voice actor than to be a regular actor, because you have to basically emote emotions while just staring at a fucking mic, as opposed to being on some sort of set. Like you do have some cases with a lot of what Sony does, and has the actual voice actors act in the cutscenes, but they're also just looking at people dressed up in weird fucking suits. So like being a voice actor sometimes is really really fucking hard. So it's like being a good one is fucking amazing.
Me personally, I think it's going to be a good balance, and I think it's honestly going to be something that's going to be either a hallucinogenic scene, because this is like the biggest thing with a lot of kids movies right now. How even the Big Dinosaur got them get drunk on fermented fruit. So I don't know, like if it's something like that, where she like hallucinates Boost talking to her in more of a Danny Trejo's voice, because like throughout the trailer he doesn't talk at all. And I don't know if that's something that they're doing for this one little sequence, or maybe it's something that gets acquired through that item that they're chasing in her dream, which is some kind of big monkey idol, which probably give them the ability to speak. I don't know really how it's going to go. But honestly, with a lot of these live action movies, the monkey's probably not going to talk except for either a special dream sequence or some insane magic that happens throughout the adventure.
Oh,
Yeah.
honestly, okay. I want this movie to fail for one reason, because if this movie succeeds, they're gonna do a Thornberry movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I
And that's gonna be fucking awful.
I'm
I
actually
love the
surprised
Thornberry.
they didn't do that first.
Why is this coming out in theaters? Like, this literally looks like a TV movie. Why is it
Okay,
coming
have
out
you
in
seen the
theaters?
Kim Possible fucking movie? This at least looks like it has more than a $5 budget.
They both.
No, this looks
Look
way
very
better.
bad.
Have you seen the clip?
Look at that
or the-
opening scene again. Look at that opening scene
Look
again.
at
Tell me
the
that
Kim
looks good.
Possible trailer. At least this
They
looks like it has...
both belong on fucking TV.
No, man, this is way better. This is way better quality than the Kim
I
Possible
don't know.
trailer, which looks like some trash ass Disney Channel movie.
That fucking Tomb Raider ass scene right in the beginning where she's running like, ugh.
I'll take the Tomb Raider ass scene versus the fucking running to the bus scene in the clip that they showed for Kim Possible.
You know what's-
That's some of the worst garbage I've ever seen.
The thing thing that's kind of crazy to me too, and this is like I do not know how, I don't know who the fuck is like who was supposed to do this, but so she was talking about like, oh, okay, why the fuck are this in the movie theaters? It's like, okay, that's a good question, but whatever. Sometimes shit goes up when there's nothing else going on. The week that this comes out is Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw and New Mutants, and then some shit.
New Mutants not coming out. Don't fool anybody.
No, it's coming out. But yeah, like
that's not
Paramount,
coming out. That's not.
Paramount. No, Paramount's just like, dude, Paramount's one of those, you know, companies or distributors that I feel like are really, really smart. They make tons of good decisions. So for them to make such a stupid decision while fucking Universal and Fox are just whooping ass that exact same week, is like, what the fuck are you doing? And then like the next week, the big thing that's coming out is Artemis Fowl and like The Kitchen. Who the fuck knows what that is? Like, why didn't you come out?
The Kitchen?
Yeah, The Kitchen by Warner Brothers. It's like a action crime fucking movie. So it's like, yeah, I know. So it's like, why didn't you just wait 1 week, you motherfuckers? Like, you would have owned the week of the 9th. But
you could have easily competed against Artemis Fowl because it's both like beloved children's, you know, stories, and you could have easily not so much compete, but like they could have gone alongside. You could have had a kids' day of watch Artemis Fowl, then watch Dora the Explorer. That could have worked out way better.
Yeah,
oh, that'd be the worst day ever.
But it's like this is summer, and then you got like fucking the summer is always really packed, especially okay, like August 2nd is probably like the last week that people have before they go back to school. So like, you know, Fast and Furious is gonna destroy. Like Hobbs and Shaw is gonna be fucking massive, and then New Mutants. I mean, horror fans are gonna not want to see the, you know, the big epic, The Rock, Jason Statham movie. They're gonna want to like do the opposite of that. Plus, they're comic book nerds. So where's Dora? Like Dora's gonna fail, dude. Like I don't think he's gonna make his money back.
I don't see it maybe failing because depending on his budget. Because if we look at it closely, it's I'm gonna be surprised half these sets are reused from other movies and they just did a quick paint over so people don't notice. But a lot of it looks cheap and a lot of it looks pretty easy to do. Like it looks like the movie's gonna be mostly either doing a little bit of this jungle environment. And then the rest is going to be doing this high school experience bullshit, which is the easiest thing you can film, especially if they already got like these pre-built schools on the lot. Because Nickelodeon's been doing these shows forever.
And you can
so
go
I'm
these
surprised
into
they got
too.
just cheap locations to do it. But when it comes to like it making its money back, I am more than sure it's going to do it because all these other movies that you're talking about, they're more for like older kids above the age of 13 to like 18 range, and Dora's not really for them. This is more for us, the nostalgia kids that grew up watching that and want to see how bad they fucked this up and try to change it to get us to come back and check out our nostalgia boners. And for little kids that have no context to this, just for their parents to go take them because one, they have a nostalgia boner, or two, they know this is a very kid-friendly product and they have no worry about taking their kids to go see it. So I see this really being a big hit for like that 6 to like 12 crowd. Honestly, like the ones right before they become like middle schoolers, they start becoming vengeful, hateful teenagers. Yeah. Like, I can really see it like being to be able not to coast on that. I don't think it will like be a big fucking movie. It's not gonna hit the box office. I don't really think it has to go number 5, but it will coast.
Okay,
I know this is a bad comparison, but I cannot get it out of my head, especially with a random character just pointing out all the stupid bullshit, is this reminds me of Transformers 2, where they're randomly being jumped from location to location, and they just have a bunch of random people with them for no fucking reason.
Well, it won't be random because she's called the Explorer.
But Dora like didn't like have all those random people with her until like she got to like middle school and had friends. So like now she's jumping from like elementary school, still in the jungle, all the way to high school, and she's never met these people. So who are these people?
They're just the fucking there's a bunch of kids on, and she has to save them because of the fucking field trip gone bad. But I cannot help but getting Transformers vibes out of this, and I know that's not fair. It feels like a lot of Transformers too. But honestly, like I've seen way worse trailers, but this like I think all the school stuff's gonna be cringy as fuck. But like I know I almost want this to be like visceral when they go to the fucking jungle. Like, have y'all ever seen the movie Hannah?
No, I have not, but I heard of this.
Yeah, it's basically the entire thing is that this random girl, like young girl, gets trained into like the arts of like killing motherfuckers, and there's just action scenes where she's just taking out grown people with fucking arrows and shit. I'm like, it's never gonna be like this way. But when she's like pulling out a fucking Bowie knife and goes, man, there's like only 3 mercenaries here. I'm like, yo, am I gonna get a choreographed knife fight with Dora or not?
Yeah, I don't know. And plus, why would you want to?
That's the thing. Like, who exactly is this movie for?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really for kids.
Like it's not for like young kids and stuff because like. These like villains are pulling out knives on them, and they're basically putting them in boxes and shit, and shipping them out, and telling them, "Yeah, you be quiet and shit like this, or else we will cut you up and shit." Like, whoa, like this isn't for young kids. Is it for like what age range is it for?
Yeah, is this a thriller, or is this a comedy, or is this a goofy movie? Like, I mean,
there's like are like middle school and high school people really wanting to see a movie about Dora?
No, this is definitely for like late late. I was gonna say late term elementary.
It's like
No.
even then, like they like this
Wow.
movie, like if you're seeing it in like high school or something like that, it seems like okay, this looks a little bit too goofy for me. Like this should be on TV. Like who the fuck's this for?
I'm sorry.
No, but what I was saying.
You might keep going, Jet. They're gonna keep laughing. You
No,
gotta
no,
go,
no.
man.
I was saying before I fucking botched it by bringing up a fucking term instead of just saying what the grades were. But like when it comes to like people in like 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I could probably see them going to see this.
I
Yeah.
guess, but the whole like sticking like a knife in their face and stuff like that, it's kind of questionable, especially since they don't actually have a rating on this yet.
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
a
like,
big
eh.
You can
I
say
want
that,
this to
but
be
the
PG-13.
original Lion Kings literally had Scar get chewed up by fucking hyenas as the end.
But they don't show it
It
though.
was a lot less
True.
yeah, and it's also like
Okay, how about
we're a
they
lot more
have it-
stricter with what's seen on screen. And also another thing, what's with Nickelodeon movies always like doing their movies with someone getting kidnapped in the jungle, or like something happening in the fucking jungle.
Because it's probably cheap to shoot in the jungle. I
Like
think.
so far, Hey Arnold's done that with its last movie. This movie, the Rugrats movie. I'm pretty sure I'm missing.
Actually, yeah,
some
you're
other-
not wrong.
Well,
There are
the
a lot of these
Thornberry
movies in the
movie, they
jungle.
literally get stuck in a jungle on a desert island.
Yeah, like what's with them? Like what's with the main thing with them? Like something happening in the fucking jungle.
Desert island. Holy shit! I am just fucking up tonight.
Yeah, I know,
No,
dude.
no,
I'm-
you're not allowed talking for the rest of this. For the rest of this topic, you're not allowed saying anything.
Like if it's a Nickelodeon movie, like you just bet, like yeah, they're probably gonna be like stranded on a fucking jungle or kidnapped or some shit.
Or a desert island if you're fucking bad at it.
What did I tell you about talking during this?
Look, I believe in desert islands and white sand. All right.
Oh, fuck you! Don't try to bring me down on your shit,
I can't go down alone.
Yeah, he can't go
without me.
down without his brother.
you motherfucker. Meanwhile, you're over there, like, underneath us, brr, brr, just all fucked up in the goddamn water, trying to talk fucking no
yeah,
oxygen
because
having
you two motherfuckers drowned me earlier.
Oh no, you got this long, stronger leg space.
Stronger leg space?
Just shut the fuck up.
Any fucking way. We had
Man,
anything else about
this train is basically just off the rails, just doing flips.
Holy shit.
the fastest. This train wreck's so bad.
Multi-track
It's gonna be the
drifting.
next fastest.
Look, I may be on some flu medication at this moment. All right?
What's your excuse
Like he
normally
literally
then?
has a knife out. I think like it's about to stab like multiple people just tied to the track. Like I don't know what it's fucking doing now, but it's doing something.
All I know, man, is for one, happy birthday, Tay. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tay.
Happy birthday, Tay.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday.
Wow, thanks. Next time we'll just start off with Allen's.
Happy
Oh my
birthday.
god! Oh my, happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
Yeah, good for you.
Fucking
Wait.
Boss Burgers
Fuck
over
all
here.
y'all. Y'all making
Now,
it way worse
now
than it
time to
was.
sing a whole new world. A whole new
Oh,
world.
fuck. You weren't even there. You weren't even there,
Happy
Jack.
We were there in
birthday.
spirit, unfortunately.
No, she left. She booked it immediately.
That was a good choice.
I should.
Well, would you actually want me there?
You're right.
I like Alan's literally Bob's Burgers. Like he's just fucking like the way he talks is just like, hey, happy birthday, Tina. Just get away from the fryer now. I love that shit so much.
Your dad loves you in a special way.
Fuck off, kid.
Why do they always leave?
Yeah,
when
I sure
go
that's
back?
me or you.
That's not me. I am happy. I'm like, Trey.
If Nick is gonna be a dad, he is definitely gonna be more of the dad from fucking I can't believe I'm blanking on the show
F
name,
is
but
for
with Bill
Family.
Burr. Yeah, Bill Burr's show F is for Family. Because like there's one point that he's arguing with his son. And his son goes, "You can't throw me out on the wall. We're outside. I'm gonna go inside, get some wood, build a wall, and then put you through it." I can just see Nick doing
Only
this.
if I had a kid like you. Because me and you, if I was your dad, holy shit, dude, I would
Oh, you
beat
would.
the
You
fuck.
would. I'll let you know now. You're gonna pay for all your sins with your kids. That's how it works.
No.
No, it isn't. That's just the shit you put on there.
No, that's how it always works. You know what my kid's gonna do when he rebels? He's gonna become a stockbroker. He's gonna become a manager at Arby's, and he's just gonna tell me that he's making his kids work overtime. Man, it's gonna break my heart.
Well, that's what you get for trying to smoke out your kid at age 2.
He didn't see it coming, neither did I.
I'm gonna ask the chat really quick too. All chats, by the way, and I'll write in there too in a little bit. But it's like, who do you guys think will be the best dad out of me, Gotcha, or the best parent out of all of us? They're all gonna pick Jet. I don't know why I asked that, except for Jet. Who do you think will be?
Well, like then you should do like who'd
the
be
only
best
woman
dad
in
then,
here, you're excluding her.
I just like I want to include her, but it's like that's such an easy answer. Like I'm just gonna see a bunch
Well,
of
just do
Jets.
best dad, but I'm pretty sure most people would pick me anyway.
Oh fuck that! You guys better not do that shit. Who's gonna be the best dad? out of the whole MCA.
Well, okay, we have a tie so far. Oh, never mind. So 2 to Jet, 1 for me apparently.
Are you serious?
I'm looking at the chat right now. That's okay. Jet's
Oh,
winning
Rox,
so far,
you fucking asshole. Rox says Jet is
That's
best dad.
4. Oh no, and now we have 1 for Ganja. Somebody actually thinks that.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, who said
I
that?
think we have
high.
5 for Jet so
Eddie, yeah.
far.
Eddie is high. No, fuck that. Eddie. Oh, Adrian,
6.
you asshole.
6 for Jet.
I
6 for Jet, 2
Really?
for Ganja.
This whole chat can go fuck themselves.
He's only saying that because he's losing.
That's
It's
also
okay.
being good. I'm
I'll
happy.
pick title of best daddy.
You motherfuckers. That's
Literally
stupid.
no one voted
no,
for Nick.
Jet, you are now Dream Daddy.
No,
Don't bring that back up.
Oh,
Oh, there we go, the mix-up.
Yes.
For some reason, thinks Nick's gonna be a good dad.
Yes, thank you. But only have daughters.
But we'll only
Fuck
have
you.
Oh,
Oh no, that's the thing. Oh, I thought that to Ganja.
Hold on, that's not a bad thing.
Why is
Because I
that?
can see Nick raising a couple cool ass girls. I can see that happening. But they're gonna be some vicious bitches because they're gonna be talking all kinds of shit about you.
Yeah, no, and if I have daughters, oh my god, they're gonna destroy the fucking world, and they'll have lots of money. So I'll make sure that happens. But Julie says Alan would have a hard time because his son would be his height at age 5. I'm
Aw.
sorry.
We all want to make that joke, but we just
Okay,
we're
so
friends.
fucking what? Yeah, you know what I tell my son? You're gonna deal with a lot of shit in your life for being short. Tell them to go fuck themselves
Well,
and be a better
technically-
person.
Technically, there's a chance that your son will actually turn out tall.
Yeah.
It depends on who I'm with, but again, I'll tell them, no matter what you are, if you're tall, you're short, they will find a way to fuck with you, find a way to fuck with them back.
And I will say, Alan, if he does have a tall kid and he still like commands discipline and everything, Alan's a bigger man than most of you motherfuckers in the chat. Because in order to like keep your kid who can whoop your ass obedient, like I gotta tell you, that would be impressive, Alan. I
Unless
hope you
it's
do
like
have kids.
a baby Huey motherfucker that's just like, Daddy, Daddy.
But just imagine that, like they're going to Alan like, just it's my turn to play the PS5.
more than me?
And I was
You
like,
love
I'll
the
climb up
bird
there and
more
beat the
than me,
fuck out you.
Daddy.
No, like Alan, really quick before we move on to the next thing, do you think you'll be able to handle the parent stuff pretty well? What do you think?
I like to think so. I have a bunch of nieces and nephews. I know it's not the same thing, but I often take care of them, watch over them for a few hours while my sister's doing, the other stuff she has to do in her day. And I kind of see like what versions of what I would be. I'm kind of strict. Like I'll let them play around, but it's like I'm very strict with them because I want to keep them safe. I don't want them to hurt each other. I don't want them to fight. So I like to think I can at least. I like to think I can handle as much as I need to. Because obviously you can't always do that shit alone. So having the other person there to kind of offset it. So I always like do these things. Like I'm gonna be the very strict one. That's how I am. It's gonna be natural. If they want a little levity because they're being good, you take care of that. You can be the nice parent.
No,
Yeah.
I see you be a big fucking pushover.
Nah.
I don't see
Depends.
that being a pushover.
You say that shit because it's one, you dealt with nieces and nephews, and I'm gonna let you know right now that's way different than your own kids. And two, Penelope has given how you treat Penelope and how Penelope treats you and what you let her get away with has given me some great insight to how you will be as a parent.
Wait, you want me to slap the fucking bird?
Sometimes you gotta hit the bird, but that's
Nah,
besides the
dude.
point.
Y'all okay? That's because y'all only see the on-camera thing. You don't see how mad I get when she's freaking making a mess.
You'll
somewhere and
see
I
me
gotta
choke
yell at
that
her
fucking
ass.
bitch out.
I realized that I probably would have to go uphill on that one, but it's
Y'all
like,
don't see it when I beat that birdie.
I probably should have shut up, honestly. But again, it's like I am strict. It's just when you guys, when we're on cam, I'm not gonna sit there and scream like you. You're like, I'm not gonna
He
do that.
turns off the
crazy.
camera and mutes the mic. Why you little?
Nah.
Imagine Penelope looking back at with that big beak, like just "fuck you, motherfucker."
Choke me, bitch! Choke me!
I don't give a fuck.
I think y'all were waiting for me to say. I think y'all had this bit ready. But y'all were waiting for some shit to happen so that you could keep going.
No, we're just really good at working together, sir.
Yeah, the fucking Chuckle Brothers over here, man.
Oh no, the jealousy.
The jealousy, it's because y'all always double team,
I just
man.
said that just to make him jealous and see how quick it went.
I know. He's like, no, man. He just went up too. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Motherfuckers. It's not jealousy. You two motherfuckers always gang up.
I will say though, I will tell the chat right now, he's not jealous. He's just really upset because his favorite show is going to be ending soon, which is Super Natraul season 15. It's gone. That's why he's upset. Alan, why do you think this is happening? You think it's because the quality of the show went down, or you think they finally knew, like, dude, it's time to fucking end this? It's doing this forever.
I think it's honestly the latter because it's still getting a 20-episode final season. That's usually the normal episode, so it's not like usually when they have the finale or they're getting canceled, they're like, "Hey, we're giving you 10. Go fuck yourself." But the thing with CW, it's like they know how to budget the shows properly, they know how to market the shows properly, and they know their audience, so they know how much to spend per season. And with Supernatural's been going on for 15 years. Like I started watching it when it was not done its original run. It was originally supposed to be 5 seasons. They had a 5-season connected story with everything that it needed to, and they got all of the plot lines, every single thing wrapped up for the end of season 5. The thing is that's when the original story creator, he left to do other stuff. It's like, hey, I did what I wanted to do. Then CW is like, well, the show's still really popular. Do you guys have any ideas? That's when the show went into a second phase, and I call it the phase of every religion that has ever happened on Earth happened. So it's like they start dealing with Norse gods, they start dealing with Indian gods, they start dealing with some of my people's gods, Islam and stuff like that. Start dealing with Greek gods and stuff like that. Time travel. They do all sorts of crazy stuff. And they were able to do a lot of cool stuff per season, where every season had its season arc, and it was really interesting. They introduced new monsters, they developed the characters more, they go to heaven, hell, and everything in between, even different dimensions. And I think eventually they're like, well, we kind of did every story that they did. I think it should have ended at season 11, because they fixed every fucking problem. And after 11 years, they finally introduced God, like the God we know from Christian religion as the most powerful being, and they introduced him in a really interesting way because he was a past character in the show that we haven't seen in a while. So when you come in, you're like, oh shit, that's really fucking cool. And the thing is they finished that story. I'm like, what else can they do? They start doing different stuff, start doing more exploring. But I think that eventually it's like we ran out of stories to tell. And something we said last week when we spoke about Arrow and Gotham and Game of Thrones, every show needs to end at some point. Every show has to get its finale so that it feels like it's going somewhere. And as much as it saddens me, because this is one of my favorite fucking shows, I'm happy. I want to see its ending. It's the theme song for the show is "Carry On, My Wayward Son." Where there will be peace when you are done, and it's like I can't wait to see that final episode because it'll finally be over. So I hope that they nail it. I hope they nail the finale.
Yeah, I really hope that, they do as well, because I do want to come and get into this show eventually, like when I'm just really bored. Like I did that with Lost. Lost, when I got into it, the show was already over, and I just watched the fuck out of it. I would love to do that with this. It's just like, yeah, I will say this show, when you talk about like gods and religion and all this stuff, and then like messing with every little bit and putting their fucking hands in all these little cookie jars, it's like, I cannot fathom how this shit can still connect. How can you do all these fucking things, and yet there's a tethering with every single rule that this show has made for itself. It's like, you have so many options, it's just loose. Like, I don't mean that to be in a joke or whatever. It's just like, what can you not do? I can just say, dinosaurs, boom, and then there you go. It's like, what to expect? It's just, like, that wasn't too much for you to handle? Like,
no, because they're doing stuff like, they'll bring in, like, goblins, not goblins, ghouls, for instance. And it's like, okay, ghouls feast on the dead, ghouls hang out in cemeteries, and you use silver to determine their ghoul, because sometimes they can look like people. So as soon as you hit them with silver, it's like, oh shit, they start to burn. That's a ghoul. We can kill it. And silver, salt, a lot of the stuff you see from demonic stuff, they are a lot of the tests and the tools. So whenever they open their trunk, they have all these things around, from various guns and knives that are coated with either oils, or there's little engravings to fight monsters. And every monster has some sort of weakness, some sort of pattern. So whenever they get to episodes like, oh, look at this body, this thing's missing a heart. Well, I know 6 creatures that can do that. Well, let me do some research. Every episode is kind of like that. But then they always have their season-wide arc. Like again, for season 11, we're dealing with the shit with God right now. We're also dealing with the darkness, which is the opposite. And the darkness is starting to destroy the planet, but it's always fitting within the rules of whatever's established. So they're dealing with souls, they're dealing with all this crazy stuff, but this stuff's already been established, so it doesn't, like, me explaining this shit to y'all right now while Jet does whatever the fuck, you're probably not going to get it. But if you've been sticking around, it really rewards you for sticking around the season, because everything gets brought up. There are bad episodes, obviously. The show's not fucking perfect. But, like, really the worst episodes are just the filler episodes where, like, hey, this is just Monster of the Week. But when they have plot episodes, they're fucking awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but we're actually about to get into the next thing really quick. Before we continue on, before I transition whatnot, this is just going to be me being as transparent as fuck with the segue. Jet, have you ever heard of... wait, what was that, Gotcha?
It says segue.
Uh-huh, of course. No, Jet, have you ever... Because you watch some crazy-ass animes and all these other ridiculous shows. Have you ever tried to give Super Natraul a chance? Okay.
Hell, fuck no.
Why not?
You never want to give that show a fucking try, where they basically like kill off the devil, then have his fucking second cousin come in and say like, yeah, I'm the more powerful devil.
Second cousin?
That's not what happened, okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not exactly what happened. I'm sorry, it was his third cousin.
And by the way, that's 14 seasons of the devil around before they end him, by the way. And that might not be permanent.
Like,
there's some other bullshit happening.
Finally, the evil has been defeated.
No, there's a lot more going on, but again, it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard to talk.
Sorry. The devil's sister's husband is actually the main villain of the 12th season.
Look, I don't want to sit there and go, well,
time.
actually, let me get a pair of glasses and go, well, actually. But again, a lot of
Well,
stuff
who
they
was
bring
it?
up,
Who was it, Alan?
it was his son. It's pretty simple. He said brother, sister, niece, second room. No, it's just his son. It's simple as that. And
That's
they
all
bring
good.
that back into the other seasons where they're talking about the combination. I'm not, man, y'all, fuck all y'all. I can explain this shit right goddamn now. You two are busy laughing.
Those two, Alan. That's so much accomplished. The
Um,
whole of mouth.
Well, at least fucking BBM in the chat knows, like.
Yeah, he's saying fuck you too, Jet. Like, yeah, he's talking shit to Jet too. He's like, don't fucking talk shit about my
Soupy
face.
National has needed to leave ever since the what? Let's see. I'm trying to be generous here. 5th season.
Do you just call it Soupy
Get off.
Natural?
Soupy Natural.
No, Soupy National.
Oh, you mother.
What? That's even worse than what I said.
Anyway, Soupy National didn't need no 15 goddamn seasons to where they didn't know what the fuck to do, even though people like to say they do.
They
did.
did. That's you didn't watch it. They did know what they were doing.
I watched
single
a couple.
season-
That show was trash.
No, again,
I
they always
have
have.
not felt this happy that a show was canceled. Well, not canceled, but ended since fucking Charmed. I fucking hate Charmed.
Man, Charm is some bullshit, but again, a lot of what the show does is they're always bringing stuff back. They're always explaining stuff. They're always doing interesting stuff. They've been to hell multiple fucking times. The main characters have actually died multiple times apiece.
Oh my god.
Wait, why is that okay? How are you saying that in the good
Okay.
way?
So,
They're doing some
okay,
shonen
so-
rules
but the
right
thing
now.
is
Fucking
whenever-
Dragon Ball Z.
whenever they do that, it's never in a situation. Whenever someone dies and they bring it back, there's always some consequence. That's usually like it's not like, oh well, this is an easy fix. Like in season 5 when Sam gets injured, one of the main characters gets injured. One of the main characters sells his soul to bring his brother back. That becomes a major issue. When he dies, he's going straight to fucking hell, and that becomes a recurring issue where he's afraid he's going to fucking die soon and go to hell and become a fucking demon. So he's like, well, do I sacrifice my fucking soul and save my brother? But then I risk myself fucking dying and becoming a demon and maybe even coming back trying to kill him later because I'm fucking evil. But then you have other stuff in there where it's like they're losing their souls or they're losing pieces of them and it's affecting and they're causing so many fucking problems by constantly saving each other. It becomes a recurring theme where it's like almost you're asking yourself, are these guys really the problem or the solution to what's going on right now?
Really? Okay.
That sounds like some
Brother, how
something someone wrote on fanfiction.net.
Nah, man, it's like a fucking God Jedi tomorrow. And that's fucking life.
I will say no. Honestly, Alan sold me a little bit on this, and you sold Tay. Tay's like, ooh, I like that. Like, you know. So I mean, look, we always disagree on shows, so most likely I'm probably not gonna like this. And if I don't, I'm not gonna tell you. So it is what it is.
No, I also think Nick, you would enjoy because it's one of those things where I think I was speaking to some people. It's like, they hate the fandom. But the fandom, it's like honestly, like except for like I know BB in the chat, like he likes it too, and we're all agreeing on this stuff. But the fandom is really they're making this seem like it's a fucking Degrassi show or some sort of like, oh look how hot the characters are. That's all the show is. It really isn't. It's honestly like you might enjoy it because a lot of times it's Monster of the Week. But they're not afraid to show blood, violence, people dying. They're not afraid to show consequences to action.
Degrassi was better than Supernatural because we
sure
could see
fucking
Drake
was.
get shot.
It had Drake on it. I don't need to fucking
Yeah,
hear
Drake
y'all
getting
right now.
shot.
Dude, they had Paris Hilton on an episode of this show, and it ends with her getting her head cut off.
Just sum it up with this. Brother, how'd you come back? With the power of Christmas. Wait till the next episode, and it's going to be the power of Halloween.
Fandom
They're
designer
not wrong.
BDM, he's saying he cannot with Dean and Cass shippers. These are 2 male characters, correct?
Yeah, they're 2 male characters.
So is
They're
this like a
basically
joke
the
or something, or?
No, it's not even in the. It's the fandom because the fandom like, oh, they're 2 male characters. Let's just ship them because fuck it, we can.
Didn't
but
they
it's like,
also do the Misha Apocalypse or whatever?
yeah, Misha as well, because Misha's basically the third character on there, and he's really the most interesting because what he is he's a fallen angel, and angels are very like, if you've ever watched, actually a pretty good description is the Pixies from Fairly Odd Parents. They're very bureaucratic, authoritarian. So when he comes down, he's actually starting to learn. It's like, okay, this isn't the right way. Being angels like that isn't the right way. I gotta actually like be with these people and try to figure out like the best way to help with their problems because their problems tend to affect the fucking world.
So the Pixies walked, so Supernatural could run. I got you.
Wait, I like how Rock says Blanc 182 plays in the distance.
Blanc?
Small things.
But again, it's one of those shows where it's like it's hard for me. Oh man, you gotta check it out. It's 15 seasons. That's a huge fucking commitment. But honestly, like I almost want to sit Nick down for just the first episode so you can kind of see that this show is not afraid to shy away from just doing all the stuff that he probably enjoys in other shows. Like it does not shy away from lore. It does not shy away from explaining things. It does not shy away from violence. Like this show just does what it wants to when it needs to.
I can't take recommendations from people when magic basically is the main part of a show or some shit like that. Because after Charmed, like I can't do that shit anymore.
It's not magic with like, oh, look at this wand, or it's a lot of stuff they're doing. They're doing a lot of using herbs and other stuff, and a lot of blood too. And human essence is a lot of what makes a lot of these spells powerful. So you're seeing them doing incantations and all sorts of shit based on lore from other religions and all that shit.
Alan, work sucks. I know. I left you roses by the stairs.
Shut the fuck up, okay? I hate all of you so much right now.
Good lord, we're getting into Flex and Show right now. I'm changing it. Boom, boom. It's all red. Alan's gonna go change his fucking panties to the red panties. It's gonna be great.
Sure, motherfucker.
Oh my goodness, but no. So we're talking about a few things now. I'll go ahead and tell you what those things are now. So first off, Eddie's in the house. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing swell.
I like how that lights in the background make you look like Jesus a little bit. Like that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, Eddie, metalhead Jesus. Actually, I think there is a guy who's already that. But anyways, he actually looks a lot like you. Now I'm thinking about it. Like you look like what's his name? Metalhead Jesus. He does reviews for the games. Not just regular Jesus.
That guy's kind of fat.
Oh, wait, you got a problem with fat people? No, I'm just a server. But anyways.
Yeah.
You were telling me that you wanted to review something, and I did not even know if this was out, so I don't know if that means it's a good thing or a bad thing, but you're talking about The Dirt with the Motley Crue documentary?
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, it is a, what do you call those things? Biopics?
Yeah, biopic. Yeah, man, so when you first heard of this, by the way, too, and I don't know how long you did hear about it, but were you kind of hyped for this, or what was your first, your expectations?
I was definitely curious because I never read the book, but I heard there was supposed to be it was supposed to have some most insane shit any band has ever done, and that's basically the gist of what it was all about.
Mm-hmm.
So I was curious, but I kind of forgot that it happened because I think it was announced years ago that they wanted to make a movie based off it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know shit about Motley Crue. All I know is they're famous. They did lots of fucking banging a bunch of chicks and drinking lots of beer and etc. So getting into this, are you a fan of Motley Crue at all, man?
A little bit. I listen to them every once in a while. I really like the Shout at the Devil album, and then a few songs here and there that they did afterwards. Everyone knows Home Sweet Home and Wild Side and Kickstart My Heart and all those.
Yeah, all those
anthems
singles
of the 80s.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, man. Go ahead and tell me what you're gonna think about this, because I'm actually kind of curious. Looking at this, it looks like it was filmed fucking great. It doesn't look like it's a cheap version of Rocket Man or fucking Bohemian Rhapsody or some shit. So yeah, what do you think, man?
It's kind of a mess, really. I'm not sure what they're going for. Well, I think they were trying to make like a Wolf of Wall Street type of movie. Based off of this book, but I think the main problem, it's got a bunch of main problems, but the main problem with it is it just moves too fast. They don't spend time on barely anything at all. You don't get to really see what goes into them making some of the music, or even you don't even get to know them for their personalities or anything. They spend maybe, I don't know, 5 minutes at a time on these guys, and I barely knew anything about them going in, and I still don't feel like I know them much at all, which I think they pretty much failed at the biopic thing there.
Yeah, because the thing is, there was another movie that came out. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, because they do things they introduce relationships, I don't know, Nikki Sixx will meet his girlfriend, and you'll see them, you'll see the scene where they meet, and that's all they show from them until something bad happens and you're supposed to feel sorry for them. It's well, I don't even know these people, so I'm not. You can throw all the generic sad music at me you want, but I'm not really caring that much right now.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing too. Is like one of the like I noticed that with All Eyes on Me. There's a lot of stuff that's like, oh well, you're a fan of Tupac, so when we do like the bad shit, you're supposed to be like, oh my god, like that's gonna affect me. It's like, well, no, because I already had the context of this. I cared back in the day when I read about it. I don't give a fuck now. You know what I mean? And then you're doing it in a bad way too. It's like, I don't know.
Okay, I have a thing. Ever since fucking Straight Outta Compton came out, I feel like every single subsequent music biopics slash movie has been awful. You had All Eyes on Me, Bohemian Rhapsody just came out, Dirt, and now I don't know if Rocketman's gonna be any fucking good, but like there hasn't been a good one since then.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was either. Yeah, I mean, you know, because I kind of fail to not separate like biopic from documentary, which is a bad thing because they're totally two different things. Yeah. So that's why, and I think Julian was bringing that up in the chat too. So I don't know if I fucked up and said like, oh, it's a documentary. I guess it's not. It's a biopic, but yeah, like it's just I hate when certain biopics like it feels like it's a different movie, like separate from whatever they're kind of basing off of. And one movie that I'm thinking of too, while watching this trailer, is CBGB. I don't know if you watched the that movie that was based off of that fucking punk rock club or whatever. And this is one of those things where, yeah, I didn't get to know anyone. I knew him, the main like guy who owned the place, but like all these other characters, you get so many bands, so many people that do percussion or the technological stuff, etc., and you never get to know about them. It's always just like, hey, this bar was so crazy, here's some titties. Bar was so crazy, here's some drugs. You know, Alan Rickman, everyone knows and loves, so let's show him a shitload. And it's just like, dude, there's so much more to CBGB. Like, you really made this like a vehicle for Alan Rickman to say, hey, I'm fucking this great of an actor and I can transform into this person. It really wasn't all that. Like, was there somebody in this movie that kind of transformed into someone from Motley Crue that you're like, okay, it's because of that? Or probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
It sounds to me like this is kind of one of those stereotypical biopics that kind of came out in the early 2000s, if I'm not wrong, where everyone was trying to capture the same magic as the Johnny Cash movie, or I think I forget what the other one was, Ray Charles, where they actually had people go out their way and do method acted. So, like, I kind of get that vibe from what you're describing. Is that kind of close to what the movie is?
I guess so. I mean, I haven't really seen a whole lot of biopics outside of the Johnny Cash one, so I'm not all that familiar with the formula, but it seemed like from what I've heard about other biopics that this was following like a certain tried and true formula that you'd see from every other biopic.
Yeah.
Man, Kirk fucking said it earlier, man. Fucking Machine Gun Kelly's in this fucking movie. As soon as I heard that, I'm out.
Oh, what? Why do you have a thing against Machine Gun Kelly that bad?
Because he sucks.
Okay, well, I mean, you gotta give me some reason other than he fucking sucked.
Okay, when you listen to any of his other songs, he's really not that good of a rapper. So when he ends up doing the Rap Devil diss to Eminem, you can see right then and there, especially when they did subsequent interviews, he only did that diss just to get his album off the ground, which still failed because he fucking sucks. So it's like he's just kind of like he basically was a fame whore that just fucking floundered.
I guess. I mean, like, I won't really have any hate against Machine Gun Kelly when, like, Eminem's still out there. And I gotta tell you, like, early Eminem was great, and that shit started to fall off towards the end.
You're right.
And speaking of Eminem, too, 8 Mile. That was kind of a good biopic. You get Eminem to play fucking Eminem. You know what I mean? And
Eminem.
Even if you didn't necessarily get Eminem to play 8 Mile, which is actually, that's a good thing you bring up.
Skittles.
If you got, like, let's say you got somebody else that was still a decent, let's say you got someone that was a decent actor in the same place. That movie does a lot to explain where he gets his motivation to rap, why he's so desperate to become a rapper. It explains a lot of, especially when you hear Eminem's music, like his earlier songs, he is so desperate to become a great rapper because of his situation that he is saying and doing whatever he can to get that. And you get that in the 8 Mile stuff. But when you watch a lot of the other biopics, I feel like what they're doing is they're just trying to hit, like, hey, hit these epic moments, but we're not going to build up to them. We're just going to be like, hey, you remember when they did this song? Remember when they did that song? Remember when you heard about this one drug story? You might as well just go through a fucking Wikipedia page and just film the fucking bullet points there. And it feels like that's what a lot of biopics are doing.
yeah,
That's exactly what this feels like. They're like, hey, we need to show it's time for the what's his name, the Vince Neil car crash. Oh, now here we're gonna go over when Nikki Sixx died and then came back to life, only to shoot up more heroin. Oh, remember this story about Ozzy Osbourne shooting ants? It's like, it's not really a story going on here. It's just like it's just a big old montage.
yeah,
more
no.
than
So,
anything.
but I mean, as far as our rating system goes, like on the right side over here, I'm about to say the left. I'm like, wow, it got those two fucked up. But yeah, like, what would you rate it from buy it to fuck it, man? Like, is it really really bad, or is it, you know, close to being good enough that way you would actually spend money on?
I mean, I didn't hate it. I was entertained on a basic level the whole way through. the actors do a halfway decent job. Like Machine Gun Kelly isn't too bad at all, and I like the guy who played Mick Mars, which that's probably my favorite part of the whole movie. He actually plays Ramsay in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
And he
really?
actually has some pretty he has some pretty funny lines, and I like his delivery and stuff. Um, I will say that like I think the another big problem with this movie is that I think the book came out back in 2001, which is before the whole 80s hair metal nostalgia thing kind of got going, and we didn't really know much about all the ridiculous shit that went on like outside of the music. But since then, you know, all those bands have like came and gone on reunion tours and stuff, and there've been like so many documentaries about it and all that stuff that it's just kind of common knowledge now. Like the only thing that really kind of came close to shocking me was something that I kind of wish they left out of the movie altogether. That's where they meet Ozzy Osbourne,
Oh,
and
God.
there's a famous story about him snorting ants, but he does, you know, more than just snort ants, and it's pretty fucking disgusting.
Snort? I thought you said shooter.
I was like, no, he just snorted them from a straw, and then he did something that was fucking gross. But I was like, yeah, I didn't really need to see that. So, and I mean, it's I think quality-wise, I'd give it a rent it, but I mean, you gotta consider the fact that it's on Netflix, and there is no shortage of great shit to watch on Netflix. So, I mean, you wouldn't miss anything if you just avoided it.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like I still want to watch it, believe it or not, but it's just one of those things too where it's like these biopics need to stop coming out. Like I think like it's weird that Rocketman and Bohemian Rhapsody and all these fucking things had like a trailer right at the same time. And it's weird too, by the way, that like when those trailers first came out, it was like 2 weeks apart. But yeah, Rocketman's coming out like months and months and months after Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like there's clearly a trend. That's why the marketing team decided to put them both out like quick as fuck. I don't see this being a thing for much longer. I think maybe like another biopic or two. I mean, I'm still waiting for that Kurt Cobain biopic, because it has a horrible fucking ending. That obviously we gotta get that.
Be a hard one to fucking do.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, there's plenty of good documentaries on them.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of documentaries, but the problem with them doing it is it's going to be kind of the same thing as Bohemian Rhapsody and like a lot of these other ones. Is if you really want to have the music and the state behind you in terms of giving you like credit to go any of the film in certain locations that are still around or owned by the property state, you got to have it like script approved. And for a lot of these people that have done like dirty stuff or really partied hard, like that's why I'm kind of surprised Elton John stuff's going to have a lot of true stuff about him. Is a lot of people just want their legacy just to be this squeaky clean thing when they're towards the end of their life. No one really wants to bring up the fact like, hey, me, your favorite singer of Aerosmith, I banged 13-year-olds all throughout the 80s. Like, like no one really wants to remember that about them. They want to remember the times they hanged out with their dad going on a long country road drive and hear Sweet Portions for the first time. That's what people want from these biopics, so I get that, but that's the dichotomy between two, and it seems like that was the biggest problem. This movie is it either wants to do the real dirty shit and not have a real good movie, or have a real good movie with a lot of budget, but nothing true to the character. And
Straight Outta Compton. I was gonna bring that up because like a lot of people were saying like there's a lot of stuff in it. Like I love Straight Outta Compton, but yeah.
Like the only one that kind of skirted off by was Ice Cube, but I think that's because he threw more money at the project than everybody else.
Yeah,
But
probably.
I still can't believe out of all the scenes in that movie, they left the thing where he destroyed a fucking Reckitt executives. He destroyed a Reckitt executive's fucking office with a baseball bat. And in interview, he was like, "Oh, why'd you keep in there?" Well, because I liked it.
Wow. Yeah, man. So I don't know, but yeah, he said avoid it. I would say probably avoid it as well. But if you're a huge fucking fan of Motley Crue, I don't know. Maybe I haven't met anyone who's super into Motley Crue, by the way. That's like one of those things too. That's like I bet when they're all dead, then it's gonna be like, oh, Motley Crue was the best, man. Fucking love that band.
Fucking the logos on their shirts. People gonna be like, yo, Kickstart My Heart is my favorite song, bro.
Yeah, it's like
I saw them live like I think back in 2013 or no, it was like 2011 or something, and they sucked.
yeah,
Like, Vince
man.
Neil cannot sing live. He like skips over all the words because like either he can't remember them or he's just too out of breath and too fat to sing anymore. I don't know what's wrong with him, but
Damn.
Mick Mars is still cool though.
So here's the thing, people. We're going to get into something that I'm actually nervous to get into because who the fuck knows what people are going to freak out on me about. And me and Ganja say Ron Shell all the time. The thing is, though, so I don't know how to say this because it's not a spoiler review, but I've heard certain things today that I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't know what the fuck a spoiler is anymore. I really don't. Especially when it comes to certain things that are shown in the trailer. But we're gonna talk about us, me and Ganja, and we're not gonna. It's gonna be very, very quick. We're just gonna express our opinions, make it very short,
We're
and
talking
then.
about us, not you guys.
Yeah.
Us.
But
No, we're reviewing the
Way to be
MCA.
some
Okay,
narcissists.
got it.
but then the thing is, though, is at the end of the show, and hopefully you saw the message, Ganja, that I posted in our private hangouts or whatever. But like, we're also gonna do a spoiler talk at the end. Huh?
I got the little pigeon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, send it right over to your house and just drop that and some bird shit. But yeah, we're gonna do a spoiler talk at the end of the show, and when we do that, I am gonna be allowing people to come on in, and we will be talking, and hopefully we don't get into a big old fight at the end. But like, if anyone does not want to be spoiled, then at the very end, after we're done with our Clerks review, you can leave. But for this part, don't leave because it's gonna be cool. We're not gonna spoil nothing. So with that said, Jordan Peele's back, Mr. Ganja Guru. Yay! I was waiting for this for a while. Everyone was freaking the fuck out about Get Out. I'm like, okay, what's gonna be the next thing he's gonna fucking do? Hopefully, it's gonna be good. Guy, tell you.
Trailer would Get 5 on a remix with a fucking classical orchestra in the background. Fuck, my stoner brain lost his mind.
Yeah, and the thing is, when it comes to the music of it all, like I gotta tell you, dude, I love like when the movie starts. I love the music there. I like the remix of that fucking Got 5 on it thing. That was all cool. And at that point, I started realizing something that I'm noticing from lots of people even right now, is that Jordan Peele is a very popular person. He's doing Twilight Zone. He's doing this. You know, Oscar award winner Jordan Peele on every fucking trailer you can see. And everyone's starting to have opinions that don't make sense versus everything else they say. Like, for instance, the song itself, I Got 5 on it. That getting a weird, creepy remix, it's kind of funny how everyone makes fun of things that do that. They made fun of Game of Thrones for having Wicked, what's that song called? Wicked Prayer or some shit? That love song. They made fun of The Gallows. They made fun of all these movies that do remixes of all fucking all songs. They made fun of, yeah, made fun of Tomb Raider, yeah, I'm a Survivor.
Oh, the Survivor one? That was the worst one.
Yeah, but then Jordan Peele does it, and all of a sudden it's fucking great.
Well, it depends on how good the song is after it as a result. Usually it's done for cheap publicity.
Yeah.
I think the biggest difference between that and a lot of the other songs is they were covers and remakes. This one is more like say a remix of it. Is there's nothing really changed in terms of like the lyrics or the person that's singing it. It's more they changed the instruments to sound more orchestral and give it more of this fancy sound, like it's an actual like movie trailer song. Which a lot of times like movies don't do that. It's either they do a music version of something with a cover that's trying to get this dark brooded across like Suicide Squad did, whereas this one feels more natural and it feels normal to the environment because one is the song that does come out in the movie a few times, and it's clearly a staple of something that one of the main characters enjoys as old classical song. Yeah. So it makes sense within the movie's context, and it adds to the horror element of a lot of the trailer aspects. So it's one of the ones that's done right, and it's not just there for, hey, remember this song? Now we're gonna make it creepy.
Yeah. And then, you know, you get into the movie, and the music's already putting you in that zone. And then, like, you know, the scene over here, like, there's a part in this trailer where this little girl's walking towards the beach in Santa Monica, and the thunder's going, and it's like, dude, like, this feels classic, man. This feels like one of those great fucking horror movies from back in the day. I am in it. And this is what Jordan Peele loves, man. Jordan Peele is really into Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th and all that stuff. He even did, like, a fucking horror movie trivia quiz with this cast recently. So he loves this stuff, and you can feel the love through this. But then it gets into a thing where it's like, okay, are you going to be a horror movie or are you not going to be a horror movie? And this is an issue that Get Out had a lot. Like, people were kind of confused. Like, is this a comedy or is this a fucking horror movie? And I feel like it's a horror movie. I don't know what you feel about Get Out, but I feel like that was definitely a fucking horror movie. This, I feel like it's kind of in the middle. You have a character, like the character from Get Out, when he was, you know, the airplane worker or whatever, when he's always making jokes and always fucking calling and doing this and doing that, and he's supposed to speak for the audience. Your main character here, well, not his main, but like the father character here, is always making jokes at the worst fucking times. This dude,
it's like a spiritual continuation of the TSA guy from Get Out.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I know it's funny. People back in the day always say like, oh, if a black guy was in this movie, he would do this, and you know, like, oh, if I was there, I would do this. Even white people say that. If I was there, blah blah blah. And this guy is that guy. So you live through him. But then it takes you out the fucking movie because when we see this trailer, we see the atmosphere, we hear this music, we're fucking creeped out. Like, that trailer was kind of scary. It reminded me of The Strangers or something like that, you know? This home invasion type thing. And then you just see all these like little bits of them pushing like the envelope as far as like, okay, we're going to make sure that it reminds you of Night of the Living Dead. We're going to make sure it reminds you of A Nightmare on Elm Street. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I'm kind of like, instead of watching this being in the movie, in the experience of the movie, I'm more watching this like, holy shit, Jordan Peele made this. I get that reference. That's kind of cool. Oh, like, I'm a fan of that too. You know what I mean? Did you get that?
No, I got that heavily. Bringing up the Night of the Living Dead and at least some of the early George A. Romero's is very valid because the first half is very reminiscent of the, hey, we're going to give you this news report that was going on and give you like the secret little update of something that might be happening that might lead into what the biggest thing that's happening in terms of like character development and why these characters are going through these, pretty much these horrible segments in their life, just trying to avoid these copycat clones of themselves, trying to murder them and just take over their bodies, which is something that I like, but it's the thing, like, it feels too much of, like, hey, it's just reference throughout the film sometimes, which it does take you, like, it's a little confusing, because I like horror, and there's a lot of, like, the old school stuff that I really enjoy, so when I was noticing, like, the little callbacks, like Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and, like, certain things, certain aspects they use, certain, like, I think you would say, I want to say autistics, but that's the wrong word. Aesthetics.
Oh my god.
Aesthetics is something that I really enjoy, but you don't get, the thing is, you don't get past that because it's one of those things that how much of that is just for you to enjoy because you're a horror nerd, and how much of that is just this movie you're actually enjoying itself. And that comes up a few times in this, especially within the plot line itself with this movie, because this plot follows a lot of the 70s horror cliches, so and some of the later 80s ones as well. And it just feels like a callback so much that it's hard to just cut it off between the other, like the previous films, in terms of not like Jordan Peele's films, but in other horror films that kind of just do the same route. And it kind of got me to the point where I kind of guessed the ending a little bit too early. And it kind of was just me double backing throughout the whole film, like, oh, okay, they're doing this instead, so they're not going to do that. So, okay, so this just happened, so that's this ending that I thought it was definitely not happening. Yeah. And ended up doing a 180 on me, which we'll talk later in the spoiler segment. But besides that, I really appreciate a lot of the older aspects and aesthetics that they were using for the horror aspects and building up the tension and anxiety of the characters.
Yeah, because I mean, I had anxiety throughout the entire film, but then you get into situations too where it's like, lots of people are saying like, "Oh, this is so different than most." No, they found new ways to develop the tropes, and I gotta tell you, dude, like, look, there could be, and we'll talk about that in spoilers, but there could be a reason why this is explained later. But, like, this mom in here reminds me of Lori from Walking Dead, where she just loses Carl all the fucking time. And, like, this girl's always like, where's my son? Where's my son? My son just left. It's like, you're at the beach. And, I mean, granted, I will say that maybe it's explained if we talk about it later. And there's a theory as to why I think that that's the reason. But take away my stupid, crazy theory, take that off. I will say, if it's not that theory, and if I'm not correct, this is fucking terrible. Like, who loses their kid that many times in a space that you're already uncomfortable at, and then he finds this fucking weirdo, and no one else sees it in the world, you know? And then, like, another thing, too, there's a character who gets injured, you know, the character's knee's fucked up, and he crawls, and, like, what the injury that makes it happen, I've been through that myself, I felt that myself. I didn't crawl for fucking 5 hours, you know? Like, and they show you the injury in full depth. Like, they show you. The camera doesn't, like, it's not a trick. You know what I mean? You see it. And this character is literally the stereotypical, like, white girl falling down, at, you know, her shoe fucking up. You know what I mean? Like, in horror movies. Like, when a girl's in the bushes and she's running, oh, God, here comes Jason. Whoops, I tripped. Well, I'm such a fucking silly motherfucker. I keep falling. You know what I mean? Except this character, this person's character is all just that for 2 hours. I'm like, okay, man. That's not cool. And then the old, like, you know, the car won't start shit. And they found a new way to do the car won't start. It's, oops, I forgot the smart key to the smart vehicle. Yeah. And it's like, oh my god, dude. Like, we're just your typical fucking horror movie.
No, that was one of the things that I did was a little disappointed is Get Out had a lot of things that gone against the tropes, or we try to find a way to go around it so it didn't feel so obvious, like people falling for no reason. Whereas this one kind of embraced it and did not try to go out of the way to just try to explain it away or just try to give characters motivation. Why would they go through this? And like, there's a few times that they do it, and it makes the movie. I think it's more for the flow of the movie plot than to actually give you a sense of like these characters are just trying to do their best to survive. And yeah, it just results in some dumb decisions because they're making decisions on the fly. It's just some stuff that you know they wouldn't do because we've seen in other previous Jordan Peele films with, you know, Get Out, that he has made characters that didn't do it. So it's one of those things that kind of a little jarring because it's not like you're watching like a Friday the 13th movie or any of those old school slashers where it's kind of the staple that kids, you know, something happens in terms of making dumb decisions or going the wrong way or just doing something that doesn't make sense in terms of like the characters trying to survive. But he tries to go against that. So to see him go against not go against it and try to actually just embrace that trope is a little bit jarring. But I appreciate it for what it was because I feel like this movie was way more in terms of a traditional like horror film than Get Out was. I think Get Out was more of his experimental mind thriller. Oh, even had aspects of the changing someone's mind with the beating of the little teacup. So it has more of that no more of that psychology. More of that psychology stuff going on that I would say this one is. It's more of a chase film. It's more of a doppelganger film. There's a lot of like callbacks to those old Glow movies, or a lot of what's that movie? Invader, the Body Snatchers movie.
Oh yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah.
Yeah, that one as well. There's a few scenes that I could like. I don't know if they're ripped or it's definitely inspired at one of his films that he actually wanted to give like a quick homage to in this one, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just for a horror film, you notice that, and I feel like a lot of people they just don't really notice that stuff, and then they're just gonna accept it as okay, so that happened. And which I saw that with an audience of people that weren't like big horror films, and I saw a lot of people that were like family members today, and they kind of just react to stuff normally as you see in these tropes. So it's just mostly for me and you to just point out and to criticize or enjoy. It's not really for the general audience to notice.
Yeah, and then like aside from all that stuff, like the one thing I want to discuss big time too is just like okay, like the actual movie of the movie, and like we'll talk about characters and all that stuff later on, like in our spoiler stuff, because honestly, and I know it sounds like a bad review that we're not talking about characters and like little plot points, but I guarantee you they will be spoiling shit, so we won't get into that too much. But the violence, I mean, it is a horror movie, right? So like I went to a movie theater, I saw this fucking thing, and I always base my ratings on certain things of like, okay, if you spent money on it on the Blu-ray or at the movie theater, is it worth it? This is just barely scraping the surface of being worth it because nothing really happens. You get a kill scene that lasts 2 seconds. You get another one, a whole fight scene that lasts 3 minutes. Everything else is tension. And I gotta tell you, every time I see a trailer or a poster, it's the scissors and it's blood and scissors. The scissors never get used. I'm like, and
damn, not even a cut paper.
Well, it's just like no, they cut paper.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Good.
Yeah, but it's just like, oh my god, like, you see Freddy and you always see the glove. So it's like, okay, he's going to use a glove. Candyman and the hook. Jason, the machete. These guys and the scissors. Where are the fucking scissors? You just hold them and then you just like, ooh, I got scissors. And the cameras...
It's just one of those things that's like an iconic weapon that it's not a lot of people have. Like, think about any slasher or killer. Unless you get like some like C movie or D movie off of the fucking random shelf off of Netflix, or just picking something out of an old blockbuster back in the day, you probably had like a villain that used like a pair of scissors. But I think it was more to go into like the stuff we're gonna talk later in the spoiler, because I think that kind of makes sense when you get towards like stuff that's explained later on in the film. But as a outright like villain weapon, it's one of those things that even people like. I was coming out the theater, this one dude sitting down, he's talking to his friends like, "Yo, man, if a bitch try to come out with a pair of scissors, man, I just shoot a motherfucker. Like I ain't afraid of that, no pair of scissors." And I can't even argue with the man, because like, let's say if you're like my fat doughy ass comes at me with a pair of scissors, I know I'm gonna at least survive a couple stabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they go for your fucking chest, if that shit goes in your eye, you're fucked, man.
Bitch, I got 2 chests. I'm fine.
You got 2 chests?
Yeah.
It said eyes, first of all.
It's called the left titty and the right titty, and it protects me with cartilage.
No, but it's just like, and Julian's saying like, no, they do use it. And the thing is like, they there's I hate to say it because I don't want to spoil it, but like, there's a shank in the distance. Every single time the scissors are used, you need like a fucking magnifying glass, because, and like, I'm not even saying that like in a sense of like, oh, like they're far away from the room. No, there's a camera scene that's outside of a home, so you're watching it through windows and then other things, and you see the scissors being used, and I'm like, okay, this is equivalent to the 2014 Godzilla movie where the biggest Godzilla fight you see on the
fight starts.
Yeah, it's like the movie is the trailer. It's like, oh, don't you wish you could see this? It's like, fucking, I paid for this. Show me. Like, the trailer shows all the good parts. And Alan always says, don't watch the trailers, and we have to, and Alan knows we have to, and we always ruin it for ourselves. Yeah. But it's like, dude, I watch TV a lot still. I know people don't do it anymore, but like, I like to spend time with my mom, and I like to just fucking watch The Prophet and Shark Tank. Every fucking commercial is us. So, like, the movie is spoiled every 10 minutes for me.
Close your eyes, go to the bathroom, take a shit.
Wait. Did Nick just say, yeah, I have to watch trailers because I like hanging out with my mom?
Well, no, I just like watching TV. Like, I watch TV, blah, blah, the commercials are on.
Well, why are you laughing about that?
Because I either have to choose these trailers and abandon my mother's love, or I get to avoid these trailers, and my mom hates me.
That was the biggest flub. Holy shit, that sentence needs a fucking defib, man.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like, and see, Julian, this is why I'm waiting for later to talk with you, because I don't know, you're gonna disagree with everything, but I'm telling you, man, I was there. Like, I was there, and I made sure to take fucking notes while I was watching that shit. I'm looking at the screen, I'm looking carefully, and it's like every single I mean, there's parts where you just see corpses. And you don't see how they got there. You don't see who, how, why, when, where, what.
That's the Midwest. You always have random corpses all over the place.
Yeah, and I mean, there's context to it. There's something that's explained, but still, you're a horror movie. So, like, do that horror shit. Like, come on, man. There's more violence in Get Out than there was in this. And this, with the storyline and the context that the storyline has, there should have been fucking amazing violence. There should have been insane, because the story is a very super violent story. So, like, just simply put, like, this is, like, on some Purge level shit. Except Purge will show you the Purge. This is nothing like it at all. And it's like, man, fuck you. Fuck you, movie.
I don't even think it needed the terms of violence. I think that was fine the way it was portrayed now, because one, a lot of the violence is like, you can't have too much violence with a pair of scissors. And I think what they did with the scissors was kind of on point to how people would kill each other with them. But at a certain point, like, it was just like basic violence to me. Like, I kind of agree with you. I kind of expected a little bit more out of something that was supposed to be a potential slasher film, especially with the idea of people, taking people's places in life and trying to take over, the idea that this doppelganger is going to go out of his way to kill you and possibly steal your face. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't do that aspect. But, it was a little anxiety to have it hold over your head, but it just not to have it fulfilled was kind of a little disappointing. But when it comes to it, I kind of enjoyed it to a certain degree to have that not too violent film, because I was hanging out like in a theater, and I don't know why this got such a mass appeal as a movie, especially a horror film, but I was in there with a lot of kids and stuff, and I don't know if they could have handled if this shit actually went to like a real slasher place where like blood, guts, and actual organs being cut out and shit.
Well, it doesn't have to be that. Like, honestly, I didn't even need to see any blood. I just, like, in total, like, let's just compile every single bit of action we got in this like 2-hour movie. We got 8 minutes of action, and everything else was just like a weird laughter.
And this is a 2-hour fucking movie. It was an hour and a half, I can see it, but like a 2-hour fucking movie.
Nah, there was way more action than that. But I can't disagree with him completely, because a lot of it is just hanging around trying to figure out what's going on and it's more of a chase film than it is an actual pursuit and fight film. Because like throughout the last quarter of the film is mostly these people trying to escape and find a safe place until the plot finds a way for them to reunite with their doppelgangers, or just offer them some kind of like faux intelligence in the air that makes them like find a way to just come back together in a certain spot or location, which we'll explain later in the spoiler. But it's just weird in a sense that you want more action, but I kind of like what the action that was there because it was built up with tension. Like, one of the things that I like about this movie, and it's something that a lot of horror films don't do, a lot of these characters accepted killing very early.
Yeah.
As a means to survive. Whereas, like, especially a lot of, like, I'm going to say it straight out, I think this was just because this is a minority family and we do what we got to do sometimes. And, like, a lot of white families, and they do have a little bit of a bit of this, especially in horror films, they go, oh my God, we killed Bob, who was a zombie and had his face ripped off. How would I live for myself? We got, like, 3 episodes or 3 fucking movies of the teenager trying to come to terms with killing Bob. And these kids and just the people in general in this film don't give a fuck. It's survival, and it's
no. They make jokes. Like, there's a point where a main character, and this is like you at this point in the movie, you feel like okay, something really, really, really awful is gonna happen. So we got really close to a horrible thing happening, and then when that horrible, horrible, horrible thing doesn't happen, it's laughter. It's just like, oh man, I'm in the mood for some pizza. Like just like complete fucking stupid jokes.
Didn't they do the same thing in the new Halloween movie with the kid runs out and he's kind of making jokes as that woman clearly is getting her ass killed?
Pretty much.
Yeah, but then like with Halloween, and me and you had an argument about this, Alan, but like the cops, I know you didn't like when the cops were joking right after we just saw some really fucked up shit, some dude's heads getting smashed. Yeah. The difference is the cops didn't see the head getting smashed. They were eating
no, that's fair, yeah.
You know what I mean? These characters just been through shit that I don't think I'll ever go through in my life because it's so insane. It's actually incredible talking about it. They went through some fucked up stuff, and now it's funny.
Okay, well, like, the thing is we often say that's like, oh man, it's such a horrible situation. But there's been like times where it's like sometimes like the only thing you could say is just say whatever the first thing that pops in your head, and sometimes it would be construed as comedic because we're seeing it like the juxtaposition of the scene. Now, obviously, I've not seen the movie, but like usually a lot of the trauma for any situation happens after the fact when you're thinking about it. Like any traumatic experience you've had, if you're thinking about it right now, you're like, oh man, I can't believe I lived through that. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. But during the moment, your emotions are right. You're not thinking about how horrible the current situation is.
Yeah, and I see that point because we had that discussion about Cloverfield as well, where that one dude's
exactly.
like, "Oh, my brother just died, anyways." Oh man, I wish I could fuck you.
Waka waka.
Yeah.
But then you go, therapy, and it's like, the person probably shaking, going like, the only thing I said was my brother died. Like I didn't have anything epic to say or whatever. Like you usually see that after the trauma.
Yeah, but like, and I guess like in movie, I guess the movie has to like quicken it up. But it's like literally, it was like, oh god, horrible thing, and then I swear to God, 5 seconds later, it's fucking funny, and I'm just like, okay, dude. This is some bullshit.
I would agree with you, Nick, but I think the way it was handled, like we'll go more into spoiler scenes because this. Can I talk about this? Because this really has no context to the plot. It's just a joke in there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, because basically one of the things is after they've had to survive a few times, they've developed a kill number, like in most of these films. So it's not a surprise, anyways. You guys know they're going to be chased around by cold things, and one of the jokes is, "Hey, I should do this so and so objective because I have a higher kill number than you." So it just turns into the family having a debate of who has the highest kill number. And I kind of took that as realistic because me and my family are so fucked up. I think if we were surviving a similar situation, we would do something similar like that. Because one, it's something that happens with humans a lot. I've listened to a podcast now with a bunch of soldiers called I Left Podcast. And they talk about that, how a lot of dark humor comes from the military and people experience these heinous things. Sometimes just as they witness that. And just cracking jokes and just trying to lower the tension because that's all they know to do. And I think one of the best examples was, I forget, this wasn't I Left, but this was another, either a story of Vietnam or WWT that people were talking about, is, I guess a buddy didn't throw the grenade quick enough, so he blew off his 4 fingers.
Ooh.
So his buddy sees that, and instead of like, yo, man, you're right, need help? He's like, oh, I guess you're always going to be giving a thumbs up now, huh? That's just how shit is, and humans are cruel, and sometimes just to try to make things better, we do shit like that. And I can see that easily happen, especially in a family situation with teenagers who don't really understand the concept of life and death all that well, to make jokes about it. Like, yeah, that's something that's terribly happened. I mentioned I was reviewing the Larry Flint movie, Dangerous Coming Around the World, and they talk to kid soldiers who literally talk about doing the same fucking thing out there in combat.
The big difference is these kids literally, like, you have these kids that are so, I hate to say it, like, privileged, because, like, I mean, they're not a poor family, like, they're in smart houses, for fuck's sake, and these people are concerned about, like, I don't want to go to the beach, it's hot. So it's like kid soldiers. That's different because a kid soldier, they see dead people.
Because you have some kid soldiers that are abducted, especially during the Yugoslavia days, that were from middle class and upper class families that were abducted by local militias and put to serve. And no matter what age group you are, as long as humans are put in that predicament, we become something way fucking different.
Okay, but that's the thing though. I think the difference is what's going on because when you're taking, because you always do this, Ganji, you always take the historical stuff. When you're translating the film, one, it becomes a completely different thing, and two, it's like that doesn't always happen. You're talking about the extreme situations of war. We're not talking about the average person.
That's what I'm saying. There's an extreme, like they're going through a hell of an extreme situation.
But they're not going through a war. They're going through a home invasion, and
that's
they're making that's a bit ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. Like you should watch the movie because they are going through something similar without trying to.
Yeah, it's actually not home invasion. Believe it or not, the trailer makes it look like it is, but it's more. I don't want to say it.
Again, they're not on the front line of a fucking battle.
But the thing is, they are literally being hunted by these people that are stronger than them and prepared to kill them. So there's a sense of accomplishment when you overcome these things. And I can see it turn it into a comedic way because that's what happens in real life with humans. So I'm willing to give that more of a lenient way. Plus, honestly, let's say what it is. It's to lower the tension of what just happened from the previous scene.
True.
Which was very fucking brutal and needed to calm down.
I guess you're right in a sense. I mean, I'm willing to kind of let go on that, but it's just like when I first watched it, and I'm just being honest. Like, I mean, you can win me over, and that's cool. But like when I watched it, but like as I was watching it, I was in the movie theater, and like I only did this to one other movie because I'm not animated in the movie theater. Like sometimes I am, but like for the most part, even if I don't like it, I just sit there, eat my fucking popcorn, I shut the fuck up, and just watch until the end. Sorry to bother you. I was fucking moving all over the place. I was throwing my fist in the air. I was saying, man, fuck you. I was like screaming. I was fucking mad. Okay. This movie, I have to say, at that point, Ganja, I threw my hands in the air and said, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, fuck this movie. Like, I got mad right there. So I was like, really? And because everything before that was so good, and now we're like, oh shit, here we go. And then like I know they're about to get into like the last act here, so I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. I gotta say, so you know, the last act. Everyone's talking about the last act and talking shit about this movie because of the last act. For me personally, all I will say is that at certain things, someone walking somewhere or getting to this place that the climax is gonna happen. This character getting there took so fucking long, dude. It reminded me of the elevator scene on Sorry to Bother You. And I know I said that twice already today, but it was like, how many floors was in that shit? Like 50?
300.
You're joking, Al, but it might as well
24.
happen, man. Like, it's one of those things that this is for like the real Murphy nerds. Those people that like
Murphy
cinematography.
nerds?
You heard me? I said like Medea, Murphy nerds that like cinematography and like all that fancy shooting and those lights and those trying to get the different ways that shit blends off stuff, the way that the escalator moves down, but you have the light that reflects up, so it looks like she's descending into hell. All that weird fucking shit they like to do. But honestly, for me and you, I hate that shit, and it just builds unnecessary anxiety that doesn't pay off with a scare. It's just to look pretty and to add to the cinematography of the film, so people give it credit later on for that as well. But I got it. Like, you know, it was supposed to show that the character was going to like the deep rests of Earth, and they do a quote in the beginning of the movie that kind of hints that they're going to go somewhere like that. But still, it felt unnecessary, especially that we kind of just came off of this big reveal scene where something weird happens with the kid, and then the family gets separated for a little bit. And one of the family that finds this one vehicle kind of comes into contact with the major plot line, and that just gets brushed over for another scene of going down the escalators.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, not to get too like tell me exactly what happens, but it's like, yeah, there's a scene where a character like it takes a long time to get somewhere, and it's so fucking long to the point where I literally looked at my phone, I'm like, you know what? I got a feeling this is gonna take long because you're going for artsy shit. And Julian said something earlier about us. It's too artsy for me. You're probably right. I'm not gonna take that as an insult to me. I take that as an insult to your fucking people because this artsy shit literally just takes away from the actual fucking movie. Like, it takes away from it. I had to watch a camera sneak behind a girl's weapon for fucking literally like 6 minutes while she went to another room, down, up, down, up, another room. I'm like, this is not a movie. I'm playing Resident Evil 4 trying to find out where the fuck I go.
Jake, hurry faster, man! I'm trying to get the A+.
Yeah, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like Resident Evil 2 where it's like, okay, I killed the zombies, so now where do I go? I guess there's this door that's locked. I guess I'll walk over here. Ooh, got some herbs. Can I fight motherfuckers? It's a video game, and this is a movie. Fight some motherfuckers. Do something.
And not only that, like, the scene that it goes into is, for me, like, after she descends into hell. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know if that's actually the movie we're talking about later. Maybe that's part of a theory. I don't fucking know. But after she goes down there and she basically runs into the biggest villainess of the fucking series. I'm not gonna give you the name of the character. It's just a villainess. That's the biggest hit you're gonna get. It falls apart.
Yeah.
Like the movie completely falls apart from between the plot line, character development throughout the movie that we saw, things that happen in terms of like what we were seeing, the ability of the certain characters to be able to do. That just goes out the window for, honestly, a bullshit ending.
Yeah, and the bullshit ending we'll talk about later because I thought it was bullshit, and then when I came home and read about certain things and read theories, and then like really, and I did a lot of fucking research. I gotta tell you, the ending, it was bullshit at first. Now it's fucking great, and I'll tell you why later. But as far as the movie goes, and this will get to the rating part just so we can move on to the next thing, I gotta tell you, this movie was an avoided. I was fucking mad during that movie. I was so fucking pissed. But the ending and how it makes sense and I will tell you this much, I feel like it connects to Get Out. I know Jordan Peele says it doesn't. I say it does. And I think he's just fucking with people. He doesn't want to be kind of stuck on this thing of like, hey, he's the Get Out guy. He doesn't want to do that. So he didn't want to sell this movie on that. But I'm telling you, this movie is 100% connected to Get Out. And because of that, I give this a rent it. I really say it's fun. If you have some family members that want to like fucking yell at the screen, hey, do this, character, blah, blah, the whole fucking thing. Like, your family's going to have a good time. It's fucking fun. Get it on the Blu-ray and blah, blah, the whole thing. The music's fucking amazing. It's a rent it. But like a low rent it, honestly. Because I literally was pissed off when I left. But it's right. Now I'm thinking about it. And if a movie, and I don't know if you feel this way, Alan, but like if a movie makes you think when you get home and everything, like I think that deserves some fucking praise. You know what I mean?
Not generally. If you're thinking about it after back, I know one of the Crimes of Grindelwald. I forgot the fucking movie when I got home.
Yeah. So I mean, you Ganja, what'd you give it, man?
I'm gonna have to give the same thing a rent it, man. It was one of those things like, all right, for me, for this whole movie, right? And this is something we're gonna talk about. I kind of predicted the ending a little early, and I was really hoping that was not gonna be the case. So when I was watching the film, a lot of times it was just looking for things to just disprove my theory. Because I want the movie to tell a story. I don't want to be fucking trying to constantly guess stuff or just be pulling out like my knowledge of fucking movie films because I've been privileged enough to see movies since I was 5. So I want to give like an honest and fucking an unbiased review. But the problem is this movie has a lot of tropes that it likes to throw in your face. And not only that, it likes to try to sneak around that while also still pulling it off in the final act. So it really does piss you off to the point that I wasn't the only one walking out the theater being like, 1, what the fuck was that? And 2, fuck that ending. So, like, if regular people who are not fans of this type of artistic stuff or these horror tropes come out and just say, yo, I like the rest of the movie, but that ending was some bullshit. Like, I heard people coming out while I was waiting for my lift today. It's one of those movies that I have to say, like, it's just something that you're going to enjoy. Big horror fans, you're probably going to make it a buy it. But honestly, for regular viewers, it's a rent it because you're going to have a great time watching it with your family, especially if this is a family pick. And I don't know about you, Nick, but my dad likes to watch horror movies with me and tell me that he'll kill me if I return to a zombie all the time. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people have those weird family dynamics that are like, oh man, if we were in this situation, what would we do and stuff like that. And that's fun for like, you know, hanging out, watching a movie on just Friday night. So yeah, it's a high rent it for me, but in terms of buy it, no, it's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna give a link to Julian in a bit, in the middle of our next review.
Dude, you're wrong.
Dude, yeah, like, dude, just not even in the same road, bro. That's what you said.
Well, the thing is, it could not be connected in the way of like, oh, the families are connected, all that shit. But it could be like in the same world,
It's in the same universe.
States.
Yeah,
we'll
different
explain it
states or
more
some
later.
shit, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely the same universe. But Clerks, you finally watched Clerks, Alan?
Yeah.
Yes, I wasn't even supposed to be on this podcast today.
Oh, you fucking stupid ass. Stop writing your jokes before the show, goddammit.
No, you wrote that for me.
No, but yeah, man. So obviously you know that you're now Dante. That's definitely you. But yeah, man. So what made you want to watch it?
Ganja just texted me out of nowhere. I was just busy playing video games, and Ganja just texted me out saying we're watching Clerks for a review. You should check it out. I'm like, you know, fuck it, why not? You know, you guys always say that I'm Dante from Clerks. I was like, let me just check it out, see what the only, I guess, quote unquote good not Kevin James, Kevin Smith. There we go.
Yeah.
My bad. Oh, don't you fucking laugh. You've been fucking up all goddamn day.
Getting your fat guys mixed together.
Yeah.
Well, hey, not anymore, man. The guy's got his life together.
Yeah, he has.
He just called me up and just said to check it out, and I was like, I never watched it. I never even heard anything about it. So we just kind of sat down. And the first thing that threw me up was like, the entire movie's in black and white. That's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah, no, that put me off a little bit actually when I first saw those black and white, but it's whatever.
Yeah, and basically, yeah, I guess I'll just go through basically. It's a very simple movie. It's just, hey, this is just this guy. He gets called into fucking work, and he's just doing his fucking thing. And it reminded me a lot of kind of what I was dealing with at work. It's very relatable even after 20 years of what it's like to kind of just be a cashier at a small place that no one gives a fuck about, of kind of how much dead time you got to kill. Because usually when we see freaking, you know, any type of movie where someone's working, there's always a bunch of customers. There's always that annoying woman that wants to speak to the manager, whatever. This is just, there's so much boredom. He's just sitting behind the counter just chilling. It reminds me of me working my job, just kind of chilling. I even had the same fucking goatee and hairstyle when I was younger. And one of the things I just found it interesting is just, it does a lot of tropes that I often would hate in any other movie. Because I think Gonja had to put on Mallrats later, and I'm like, this is what I hate. I hate that there are a bunch of fucking 30-year-olds in high school that always have that philosophical fucking best friend, and every conversation ends with dick or cum. I fucking hated that shit growing up. It was so fucking annoying. But when these people are having these conversations, they're still doing the philosophical stuff, and they're even doing some of the sex talk. But it feels a bit more organic, a bit more natural, except when they're talking in front of customers. That's kind of fucking stupid. But I know Ganja, like, because the main character Dante, like, he doesn't really want to interact with his fucking other friend. He's just kind of like, oh god, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, that kind of feels like me with Ganja when he's talking about his fucking sex acts. I'm like, I don't need to fucking hear this shit with you. Shut the fuck up. But yeah. I just like
you need to know that I eat the booty like groceries, sir.
Yeah.
He also jacks off a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie's basically that's it, and it's really like there's a few things I can say in specifics. Like, I hate Jay. I think Jay is the most annoying fucker in the entire fucking movie because he just comes in and it's like, what movie are you a part of? You're just coming in saying random bullshit, trying your very hard to be something, and every time he's on screen, I'm like, oh god, I really don't fucking like you. And as far as other things I wasn't enjoying, like, I enjoyed the comedy and it was funny at times, but I felt like it was doing what a lot of these comedies do, and they went way too far with some of the jokes. Like, at one point they go to a funeral and then they immediately run out. And I'm thinking, oh, there could be a funny joke of, oh, maybe that they're in a bad relationship, or maybe he did some stupid thing. No, they knocked the body out of the casket. I'm like, are y'all serious? This has been a pretty down-to-earth, realistic movie until that fucking moment. And then they have another situation near the fucking end of the movie. I'm like, yeah, if you took those two moments out, wrote around something else, I think this would have been a really good down-to-earth movie. I just felt like it was okay. Like I enjoyed it, and it's weird. There's a final discussion between the two main characters that's really real. Like it's a real conversation about what it's like to be a cashier versus a customer. Of like, oh man,
Yeah, I think it's a real conversation about being between the ages of 22 and 25.
Yeah, and it's like a conversation about like we think like we live in our own world, so we think we're so epic, we think we're good at everything. But at the end of the day, we're just a normal fucking person. We like to think we're above the people that buying the cigarettes or buying the random newspaper, but no, we're fucking not. We like to think we're the best, but we really aren't. I'm like, damn, I feel like that way sometimes. Like on my fucking job, I'm like, man, I'm so fucking good at this until I fuck up and realize, oh wait, I'm not that good at this. So it's like it was just weird that the character that's been basically a slack off has the realest conversation with the main character. And it just breaks down that entire character while he's listening to it, understanding that he's a fuck up. So it's like I really enjoyed them. There are really good moments in this movie for a very simplistic movie.
Yeah, and like that's the thing too is like the dialogue. Look, I brought this up the other day, and I don't know if I brought up on the show or on here, or at a different call or whatever. But the thing is like I really hate directors who do certain things about like dialogue. Like for instance, Quentin Tarantino, you always have to have the N-word in there somewhere, and he has to be fucking crazy, and everyone has to be like the wittiest fucks in the world, where no conversation feels real anymore. It used to feel real back in the day, now it doesn't. Same thing with fucking Rob Zombie. I mean, there's two guys in the ambulance. They're talking about fucking the dead corpse in the background because she's hot. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my god. And Kevin Smith does that a lot too. Yeah, it's just weird. And like I'm getting to this point now where like in Clerks, I love Clerks. I love this movie. But man, that scene you're talking about with the whole cum thing and whatnot, look, I'm sorry, man. And it's not because I hate sex or anything. Everyone always says that about me.
I don't know about that.
It is not.
It's kind of a running joke.
You hate horniness. You hate sex. You hate anything having to do with nudity. Like, damn, dude.
No, but it's
How the
not.
hell did you get the 80s horror movie all
I just want to point, by the way, she's been gone throughout that whole Get Out review, and she just came running
I've
back
been in the YouTube chat. I was not listening to what you guys have been saying, but I've been going off.
Yeah, gotcha.
It's about time you guys told me to come back, by the way, with your, like, it's nice that you guys finally told the black person to come back.
Well, wait, hold on. For one, that was a long review. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I was telling you guys to hurry the fuck up because I was out here waiting all this time, just like, let me the fuck in, let the black person in, the one black person here, let me in, hurry up with this fucking non-spoiler ass review that I guess is a spoiler fucking review because I guess you guys are talking a long goddamn time for not being fucking spoilers.
No,
Penelope, do you want to go? Because I'm scared.
And I can basically tell you right now, you probably made some goddamn assumptions about the movie, about, cinematography was blah, 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 and shit like that. The only chat that I was not checking was the goddamn Facebook one, because I wasn't watching the video. I wasn't watching shit. You were probably just like, oh, cinematography is probably really bad, blah, 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 blah.
Well, he said the opposite.
Blah, blah, blah. He said the opposite?
Yeah,
That's
Cardi
right,
B,
then.
you don't have to clap after every fucking word. We can hear you.
Alan, I clap. You would know that if you like black people.
Whoa, don't you fucking put that shit on me. I'm not Nick.
And women.
Wait, what the fuck?
Anyway, what are you guys talking about?
Fuck you, Alan.
Well, I was in the middle of a review for Clerks, you psychopath.
No, but I was gonna say though, it's like, okay, on top of that whole fucking thing with the sexual stuff, it's like I'm totally cool with that. But then there's a point where
No, you're
we're
not.
talking- I am usually, but like there's a part, and I don't even mind the 37 dicks thing. I think 37 is a quite the fucking number. You know, a little kind of crazy. 37, yeah. That's kind of odd. You're only like fucking what, 21, lady? You fucking suck 37 dicks? Like, do you do like a dick a week? What the fuck? So, anyways,
You get more than me.
She wasn't committing to nobody. She just suck dicks if she wanted to.
I think she was committed to lots of guys. You know,
She was committed. Okay, she basically specified that she was the only people she ever had sex with were 3 guys that she was in a relationship with. They're just random flings.
yeah, but still, that's a lot. That's a lot of fucking.
It is a
dicks.
lot, and it's like, again, I get that part didn't bother me so much, only in the sense of they're still having that conversation about like how far can you push, you know, you being okay with the amount of people your significant other's with, because she's pissed that he slept with 12 women. So it's like they do have that discussion. I think some of the characters like Randall and Jay, they go way too far with it, but there are times that the movie
But
kind of
there's
skirts
characters. Yeah, there's characters that are like right listening to her, like the customers. Like, have you ever had that talk when you're talking about your sexual life and there's a customer buying cigarettes from you? Like, that's fucking ridiculous, man.
Oh, and then they kind of balance it out with some of the customers who go, I'm never fucking coming back here. I'm like, yeah, that's a fair fucking response. They had 3 customers that's like, I'm never fucking come back here. I'm like, that's usually after a disgusting argument. That's why that didn't bother me so much, because it's like you still had that realism as far as like, these people are fucking stupid and don't give a shit about their job clearly. and then customers are being affected as a result because they cut. They're like, hey, we're gonna go to this place as a bunch of customers are there. It just bothered me that it does the thing of comedies where it's like we're gonna go too far, like the whole funeral business or the whole bathroom business
Or the hockey on top of the fucking store.
Hey, no joke, man. If I had a store like no joke,
You're gonna risk getting fired to play hocky?
Yeah,
If there's-
they
dude,
the
if
boss
there's-
doesn't give a shit.
Dude, if there's a situation in
He's
which I'm running the
Canadian.
store the whole day and there's nobody in, I mean, I might not necessarily like they didn't go across the street. They kind of just went on the roof. It's like
They literally have dialogue that says the boss is in Vermont. He's in a whole another couple states away. You're good.
and there's not really that busy on the at that store because again, it's not like a fucking Apple store in the middle of a mall. It's a random like ditch store in the middle of fucking nowhere. They get like 3 customers an hour, so it's like there's a lot of time, and this movie kind of touched on it. You got to kill a lot of dead time. I remember my old job. I had to just sit around and like watch movies off. I fucking hung out with you guys in calls for like 3 hours, just chilling because I had nothing to fucking do because there's no customers in the store.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, hold on. Raheem, what the fuck was that?
Hold on, I'm gonna read this out to the.
Oh, that's
No,
what
that's
Randall was
the
saying.
club.
It's a movie tape thing.
That's Randall's. That's the entire list of random
Okay.
movies.
Good
Because I was
lord.
about to say, Whisper in the Wind. That sounds like something one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, but no. Where it doesn't belong. I think right when he starts like where it doesn't belong and then big huge cocks like the whole fucking thing is like, okay, Jesus, chill out.
Yeah, because again, he doesn't give a fuck about his job, just like Dante doesn't give a fuck about his job. But then you see at the end of the movie, it's like he just they both kind of just hate their situations versus hating their actual jobs. And it's like they kind of, as much as they're complaining and saying their life sucks, they are saying that because they want to make themselves feel better. They have this inferiority complex that if they just keep complaining about it, they feel like they're superior to people walking in. And I like that the movie decided to be real for a moment at the top of the crazy bullshit that ends up happening. Because it's like, yeah, you have those moments where you just kind of click into your life. It's like, oh, this is what it's like to be fucking real. And I'm glad that the movie did that. I think that they could have edited out some of the overt comedy stuff. And I think it would have been a way better movie. But it's like, yeah, it's an all right. And to give it our stream, I give it a stream it just because it was a definition of all right. I don't like a lot of these movies because Mallrats or a bunch of the other movies like American Pie, it's like, they're trying their best to do some other stupid bullshit like sex comedy and they just go so fucking far. Where this kind of, I feel like it's able to get that real good balance. So it's definitely a stream it.
Yeah, and
I thought you would have gave it higher since basically it is starring you.
It's not
No
starring
shit.
me. It just has some guy that looks exactly like me and acts exactly like me.
And really quick, Jay, I'm gonna ask you, as far as
Don't
Clerks,
talk to me.
I'm sorry. No, but Clerks, like, what'd you feel about it? Because I know you didn't get to talk a whole lot because you know,
Yeah,
you're the
I
only.
know. I wonder why.
Yeah, well, God just said because you're the only black person in here, he wanted you to stay gone for a
Right.
while.
That's
So-
I know you guys are calling me slurs under your guys' breath and shit.
I know Alan's horrible with that. No, but like, what'd you think about fucking? Are you? Hold on, you're really wearing that fucking hat?
all the time.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a Trump hat. Wow. All right. See,
That's
if I was on the street, I would have hit you. Like, Jesus Christ. So,
No,
Why?
that's when he'll take the hat off when he realizes that's an actual consequence to it.
What? No, it's not. It just proves that someone can't read and then they assaulted me.
All right, Julian, this is a little bit. God's gonna
well,
share you some personal
Are we
stories.
talking
wait,
about
we're
Clerks or
still
we
talking about
his hat?
Clerks. Hold on. Why are we gonna go on that?
Oh no, it's okay. So
Story
again.
time.
I don't think Jet watched it.
One time I was working
Just
at a
has.
quick stop, right?
Good
And a
lord.
customer came in with a Make America Great hat. I saw him get beat by a fat and a skinny stoner. Do you want to be that dude that gets beat by a fat and a skinny stoner? Don't be that guy, Julian.
Dude, it's
Please.
a red. Am I not supposed to wear red hats?
Yeah.
Here
I
I
mean,
is a skinny stoner.
I mean, if you moved to Compton, that probably would have been an issue, for what you told us.
Buddy of mine told me one time that there's a protest going on in the city and they're like, don't hit people with red hats. The fucking sports flag of the team has a red hat.
Good
Yes,
lord.
it's a problem.
But anyways,
Don't-
Clerks.
Don't hit people.
Clerks. Jet. Like, does this movie still like hold up to you? Like, I don't know when's the last time you watched Clerks, but I know like back in the day everyone was fucking going crazy about it. When was the last time you actually watched this?
I believe like 3. Actually, no, because I actually watched it with someone about a year ago.
Yeah, about a year ago. And like that's the thing is like this movie I feel like definitely went down in quality after the decades that has been out. Or I don't even know if it's decades. Maybe like like 15
95, so
years.
it's been a while.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, do you agree with the shit that I said about the dialogue and everything? How it's they go so far with it, it's just kind of like, all right, this is not even a fucking real world anymore.
Oh hell no, I would never agree with you.
Okay, thank you.
Ha!
No, no,
Asshole.
like honestly. What?
No,
What?
go ahead.
What?
No, you're
Like,
being an
really,
asshole
you
talking
think-
shit about me.
You think I'm honestly gonna agree with the person that probably said something along the lines of "Don't go see this movie in theaters; it's not worth it."
What, for us?
Yeah,
I did not say that shit.
Oh,
I'm making
boy.
guesses.
Good lord.
Hey,
What the fuck you
usually
think about
she's
Clerks?
Anyways, coming from the person who also said like don't go see Into the Spider-Verse in theaters.
I
Anyways,
had to do it, but that's okay.
yeah, like honestly, the movie still holds up like completely. Like the jokes still hold up. Like it's a great movie, funny movie. I really don't have that many things like wrong about it.
Okay. I mean, like, what would you rate it, though? I mean, especially, like, let's just pretend we're back in the day and you know, buying this movie would cost you more than fucking $2.
For such a simple movie with not much of a plot, like, honestly, buy it.
Okay. Well, shit. I say stream it. I think it's so fucking chill. It's so, like, literally nothing's going on. You should stream it. It's not worth actually spending your fucking money. I've actually bought the shit. I bought Clerks 2 as well. And I went to go see Clerks 2 in the fucking movie theater.
That's where you fucked up.
And we will definitely, you know, I actually want to watch that again.
The color in the movie actually, like, lowers the quality.
Bullshit. So here's the thing. We're about to get the fuck out of here. Jet, I'm so sorry, but now it's going to be spoilers.
Don't talk to me.
I'm sorry, it's going to be spoilers. I'm going to warn you.
Yeah, just kick me out. You know, just kick me out of this call.
I'm not going to kick you out. You're going to have to leave yourself. I'm not going to kick you out.
Kick you out of the call.
It's all your fault.
That's exactly what you have to do.
I'm sorry. It's
Blah.
not my fault that Us is not good. I'm just joking.
Now let's list off the black movies that you have not liked so far, like starring black leads. Sorry to bother you. Into the Spider-Verse.
I liked Into the Spider-Verse.
Racist.
What the fuck is wrong? Fuck you, Eddie. Fucking
Yeah. Let's keep this narrative up. There's a lot
Yeah.
of times he said this shit.
I'm just
We
saying.
got a racist and a sexist on this podcast.
Well, at least.
What about Sorry to Bother You?
Well, I love fat black people. He hates fat
And
everything.
you love Tyler Perry movies?
Honestly, okay, you talked a bunch of shit about Acrimony, and I didn't mind that as much. No, I hated that too. Fuck. Never mind.
Yeah, you were.
You
pretty
hated
pissed.
Acrimony, you psycho.
I know, but she's
What the
talking
hell's wrong
shit.
with
Why are you
you?
trying to put me out there like I'm a fucking
Oh,
racist?
because
What
this
the
is
fuck?
how I feel every minute of every day, you bitch.
But you say racist shit all the time.
Damn.
No, I do not.
You do.
I've literally never said a racist thing in my life.
Are you fucking?
You
Are
called
you
me a
fucking
slur just
fucking?
a couple hours ago.
What?
You called me a slur a couple hours ago.
Yeah, you
Called you
her
a
bitch.
slurry?
You called her
No,
a bitch.
slur.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
Don't.
No.
I think it's hard to believe
slurring
us.
your words. I said you should stop slurring your words and just assume I meant that as an insult.
It was
You
the
should see when
bird.
she gets mad.
It's time to kill this bit. Whatever this was.
Alan says I talk too black.
Oh,
I
shit.
Oh
never
my God.
said that. Never fucking said that.
Alan, why?
Why are you spreading all this right now? This
Yo,
is
no hands. If we're going downhill, no hands.
Anyway, since I wasn't on the Us review, I'm taking everyone down with me.
I didn't even
No
do
hands.
anything. Anyways,
So you're
we're
taking
doing
us with you?
I'm gonna
Shut the
shut
fuck
the
up.
fuck up.
Woo! Shut the fuck up!
Good lord. Anyways, I'm talking about Us in 5, Jet. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's your fucking fault.
Goodbye.
Spoiler time. Oh, Eddie's gone too.
See, I didn't even leave yet. See,
I'm
just
sorry.
waiting for it. Anyway, I'm out.
Are we
Peace
off,
out, Jet.
or-
Thank
the
you so
fuck?
much. No, so now, spoiler time. Let's fucking do this shit. Julian, you talking shit in the goddamn chat. I'd beat your fucking ass over here saying it's too artsy for me. Really? Really?
Well, I think that, like, now that we're in full-on spoilers, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I
Mhm.
think that what you liked about the movie was that it had really strong slasher elements, and that's what I liked about it, too, because I didn't see that coming. And I thought it played with those tropes really nicely.
Yeah, and here's one thing too. So, as far as the whole Get Out connection, you said for sure that you believe that it's not. Explain
It's not,
as to
and I
why.
can tell you why. Well, because the end of the movie, which plays with some zombie motifs that I kind of like, the end of the movie is an apocalypse. Like, the end is very clear what happens. People are going to keep dying. These things are winning. I mean, like, it ends with people holding hands who are in these red jumpsuits with helicopters in the air. That means that being on the ground is fucking dangerous. And Get Out takes place during the same time period that this movie does. So it wouldn't line up unless this happens right as Get Out ends, or like a week later or something.
So I
which
think-
I don't think it's the case.
So what I think it is the reason why it's kind of because you just said too it takes place in the same time zone, which would indicate that it's in the same universe at least. What I feel is going on here is So the tethered are these characters. The people that in the red, Alan, they're all gonna do Flex and Chill reviews. No, but the thing is though, they call themselves a tethered, or maybe somebody else calls them tethered. I don't fucking know. But the thing is though,
they don't got a name. They just call they say that they're tethered, and that's kind of where the name comes from.
Yeah, exactly. They talk about like being a replicant of someone, but that they can never get the soul right or whatever.
Yeah, and that's something that's kind of discussed in Get Out when Jordan or not Jordan Peele. Well, holy shit, when
Jordan Peele.
no, when Chris, the character Chris. Yeah, when he's when they're doing the whole thing, like trying to change him, like have basically white people in Get Out. As far as what I can remember, is that they think that the black people are better than them. They want to be them. They want to have their brains, their soul, whatever the fuck inside them, and that's why that surgeon is doing, or the dad or whatever is doing all this shit where he's switching the brains out, etc. What I feel is going on here is that the black people that were like, I guess, acting like slaves and Get Out, and I mean they didn't act normal. I mean they were all fucking crazy, weird, psycho, retarded people. You know what I mean? They acted odd.
Well, that's because they were people who had like their brain removed and had another person's brain put in them.
True, which is the good version, the finished version of what making someone a tethered would be, because I think in Us, they were trying to build a tethered. They were trying to build this army, and they just didn't get it right. It's almost like when you try to make a new video game console. You get a fucking Xbox 360.
Well, they got it right. They got it right.
See, that's the thing. I'm gonna throw a little bit of a wrench into that. I don't think it is them trying to build an army. I think what it was is the reason that in Get Out it has such a problem. Like if you notice, like a lot of people sometimes they have a moment where the original person comes back and tries to warn the person. I think because of the whole thing of like the biggest thing they mention here is a lot of the people that are the tethered don't have souls. They're clones. They're just connected to the original person. Whereas in Get Out, you're trying to put another soul into a body that already has one. So you're going to have the conflict with the two. And I think that was it, just touching on the same aspect of Get Out in terms of trying to make a connection with the Get Out series. Because without Get Out, in terms of you already dealing with the idea that people can change brains and consciousness, either by surgery or just having these weird hypnosis done. You also take to the fact that he possibly learned these things from these people down here that perfected the tether. Because why would they mention that the soul is an issue? Which is another thing that they had a problem with in Get Out was you have to destroy the person inside first before you can make it a proper vessel. And it's a good callback to that as well. And I think it gives it a good chance to blend into one universe because it doesn't destroy the other.
I think that the only like connection they would have would be like the same way as like the Cornetto trilogy. Like they're these weird, like artsy and kind of like social statement horror films that aren't in the same world necessarily, but they feel like they could happen in the world.
Mm-hmm. I see that too in a sense. I mean, like I honestly, Ganja did throw a successful fucking wrench in my theory. Because I don't know how to really argue that. I still feel like it's possible. I still feel like they can get away with like, okay, this isn't the exact same experiment, but this is within the realms of the same experiment, and this is the one that worked versus the one that didn't work. You know what I mean? Because I just feel like they act like the tethered. I mean, they're just...
The thing is, though, if you really think about this theory that you have, Nick, Get Out would have to take place years before Us.
That's what I feel like it is, yeah.
Halfway through Us, they're like, it's basically a zombie apocalypse. That was another great moment I liked where it's like, oh, it's not just happening to them. It's happening to fucking Tim Heidecker and everyone who you guys didn't mention. And he did a fucking great job. And most of the performances were good. Like Lupita Nyong'o was amazing.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't bring up any performances, by the way, too, because I would have, but it's just like part of the performances is just the fact that like Tim Heidecker, he turns into a tethered, and that I don't know if you saw this, Julian, but I didn't see that coming. I was really surprised when the white people came out, and I was like, "Oh shit, fuck! There's other ones."
The only reason I knew that it was going to turn into a bigger thing was the trailer spoiled it for me, and it was the scene where they're walking to the beach, and I saw a bunch of dead bodies. So I already had figured out a little bit, like, oh, this is going to be a massive thing. So I was looking forward to it being a bigger version of itself because I knew they were going to leave the house eventually, just from the trailer, but not just to actually have it confirmed and actually see that not only do these tethers they're kind of like these animalistic creatures, but they also kind of are really just the extreme versions or the extreme art, like the more I don't know how would you say it, like the foreign version of the people they're trying to take over or the souls they were cloned from. Because as soon as you get the characters that appear, the white folks that are changed, you have the girls up front, and what are their complete opposites? They're maniac looking, and they're creepy, and they're very antisocial. Same thing with the parents, which is the complete opposite of the people that got tethered. And the same thing with
like Tim Heidecker's character. He's like when the tethered version of him comes in, he's doing specific mannerisms that we saw him do earlier.
But it's more extreme. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
the more extreme version
but
of personality, whereas he's more of a his tether is more of this extreme characteristic of himself, whereas a comedic tether just chasing and just laughing and enjoying the situation. Whereas his daughters are more of the Valley Girls, like kind of this thing, and they just turn to a 180 of their own personalities and turn to these basically haunted twin sisters growing up from the fucking Shining.
Yeah, because they seem so like woo cartwheels and blah blah. It's like I would imagine that the regular girls would probably be acting like that too. Just
And
not crazy.
Speaking of those characters, Nick, do you remember how they died? Because we have to correct what you were saying before.
What, with scissors? They got shanked?
Yeah, they get fucking stabbed with scissors multiple times.
And how long did that last? That also brought up in the review.
I mean,
2
you
seconds.
just said that people didn't get stabbed with scissors.
No, I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. I literally brought up that they were shanked. So, yeah.
Okay,
I
then
guess,
I
once again.
misunderstood. My bad.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like, you know, and the reason why I brought up comparisons, machete, Freddy glove, knife, you know, the butcher knife, chainsaw, all that shit, versus these fucking scissors that I got to see get used, like, you know, for fucking seconds, like less than 10
You didn't think that there
seconds.
was a couple iconic weapons? Like, they kind of made, like, a fire stroker into a cool weapon. There was another one.
Well, no, but then that should have been in the poster. I mean,
No, he's talking about the villains' weapons. Like, it's the fact they were trying to make these scissors iconic, but when in terms of how they were used, it was just basic knife stuff.
Yeah, I mean, because you see scissors. I mean, they're literally like they're on every thumbnail. They're on every poster. There's literally a poster at my theater that doesn't have anybody in it. It's a pair of scissors. So I'm like, oh shit! Clearly, someone's gonna get some shit chopped off, right? They're gonna chop off a nose. They're gonna chop off the face.
I thought they were gonna cut someone's face off, and that got half-assed.
Yeah, well, because the lady does it to her own face, and then she stops. I'm like, okay, for one, why did you do that? You know, like you're just trying to.
Crazy.
You bring in like an interesting like idea, asking why did she do that? There's a lot of stuff in that movie. It's like, why is that there? And I think that that's part of the. But that's part of the good thing, man. We don't need a tightly wrapped bow at the end of this movie. Like, that's what makes it so good. Like, I agree that the ending, I predicted that shit 5 minutes in. And I'm not even trying to brag. I was disappointed by that. I was like, oh, really? Like, even M. Night.
It's not even bragging. Everyone's seen a M. Night Shyamalan film.
Well, the thing that's frustrating about this, too, is, like, I saw it coming, too, but then I was like, oh, no, it can't be that. Because this movie, like, right afterward, starts getting smart. I'm like, you know what? I don't see it, you know? And then it's like, oh, fuck, I was right. And that's the thing that's so frustrating. It's like you see a movie start changing your mind, start making you feel like you don't know shit. And then it's just like, oh, nope, you were going to be good, and then you decide not to be. The trailer shows...
Tuesday, got it.
And I know you were curious about this before we started the show, so I'll tell you now, Alan. But there's a part in the trailer where, you know, the girl in the mirror, the black girl, squeezes the other little girl's neck and chokes her the fuck out, right? Okay. You see that whole scene in the trailer uninterrupted. So you know it's important. It's like, oh shit, I can't wait for the scene that's going to happen. The movie starts off with that scene, except it's cut like The Handmaiden, where you get pieces of it all throughout the movie. You don't actually get to see that shit. And you know how much I hate that Handmaiden. That was like one of the main things I hate about Handmaiden.
Yeah. Repeating the same
what's funny about that bit, though, Nick, is when I was first watching it, like just like 15 minutes into the movie, I was kind of confused. And I thought that that little girl was the daughter of the family.
Me too.
Just not grown up yet. And then when I figured out that wasn't the case, I thought that added another layer of figuring things out. This is one of those movies that reminded me in a way of the Evil Dead remake, where it was kind of playing with me the whole time. I'm like, what's really okay? Is that the case? Oh, it's not. But the last twist at the end is the worst thing about it.
So I'm curious.
Trying to argue it.
Yeah,
the thing is, I remember I texted Nick. I haven't seen the movie. I'm just on it because I'm never gonna watch the movie. I texted Nick like, "Hey, this is what I predict the ending is based on just what I know how doppelganger stories usually go." And apparently, I did get it pretty goddamn close. Yeah, which is a little disappointing. Yeah.
Yeah, the mom is the thing. The thing is though, and there's another theory. I don't think that's the only twist. There's a twist that nobody's talking about, I think. And I'm gonna ask you, Julian. Do you feel like you know what the second twist is?
What the second twist is? I mean,
at the very end, that last frame.
Like where she looks at the where the kid knows that's not his mom.
Yeah,
that was really well executed. Like that's
so. Here's the thing, though. That's not what actually happened. I feel like the kid is also tethered. If you notice throughout the entire movie, everyone's acting. Every time the kid does something, everyone's like, "That's fucking weird. You didn't act like that before last year," because they were here last year. They were by Santa Monica, that beach. Right, and that's when all this shit happened.
Kids are growing up, man. I just think that's like little like lines for when people rewatch it and they can like connect the dots like you kind of just did.
But see, even so, there's a part where when the kid's walking backwards trying to burn the doppelganger or whatever, the mom for some reason doesn't give a fuck about the son behind her, the real son. It gives a fuck about the son in front. So that must be, you know.
All right. The only problem I have with that theory is the son when he walks back. What he's doing is he knows that the character acts out what he does because he doesn't know he's a tether, but it's one of those weird things that kids have weird intuitions with shit.
Yeah.
And he basically walks back because he knows the character would just follow him and copy him and walks him into the fire, so he can avoid his mom being on
they
fire.
foreshadowed that really nicely. That scene with those two kids in the closet was really fucking cool.
I think that's what a lot of that was. I don't think it was the sense of trying to prove that the kid is different. I think it's a little weird fuck too, because like you have the actual tether who's also a weirdo too and enjoys a lot of the weird like eccentric magic stuff he does. But I think that final scene was just him realizing, oh wait, I think I can help out here. And I think the kid's gonna follow whatever I do. And that's just a good continuation of what's going on with the closet scene.
Because you also see, too, like, there's a part where when the kid walks out to the beach and that white dude is standing there with his hands, the Jeremiah 11:11 guy, and he has his hands out, like, doing the cross thing. The kid walks out and is not scared by him, just walks up and basically just, you know, studies him. And it's like, yeah, it's because he sees another tether just like him. He's, like, admiring, oh, here's one of my guys.
Well, okay, so that's the one thing I can't argue with, because we had seen that the tethers attack people that aren't their doppelgangers if they're not a doppelganger themselves. So my only problem with that scene is, like, why didn't the Jeremiah guy attack him? And the only thing I could think of is it was already the start of the chain. And because he had already killed his doppelganger, his mission was over. Because if you notice, too, that as soon as the father and the daughter get to the ambulance and they look over at the big fucked up human chain going on, none of them are trying to attack him. Everyone's kind of just stuck in this like holding hands symbolism thing. So I don't know if it's that. It's just he's the start of the chain for that era, and he killed his guy originally, so he doesn't have to murder anymore. But that doesn't explain why the family was so easily to go after the ones that weren't their doppelganger.
It's anyone who gets in their way, dude. Like they show that.
Well, they didn't get in their way though. Like you see, the dude literally opens the door and tries to attack the mom right away.
But what about that scene where the doppelganger of the daughter, like, guy's like, "What the fuck? Get off my car!" And like
she stabs him with scissors.
Yeah. Well, no, because he's actually trying to stop her and stuff. But I'm talking about like when they first arrive and they basically do like the zombie reveal with the blood on his nightgown stuff because he just switched it over. Like they just straight attack without like any provocation. It's just, hey, we know these ain't the doppelbangers of the family next door. But then there's another weird thing too that I don't remember if y'all remember the boat scene.
Oh, yeah.
The dad is hollering and another creature is yelling back at him.
Yeah, they're communicating.
I don't know if that was the other doppelganger because their tethers are friends due to them being friends in the I'm gonna call it the upper world.
Yeah.
So they are friends. You know what I'm saying? Like they just came to the realization that their friends died and they're not gonna get to see their doppelganger buddies anymore. So that's why they attacked the family. But again, that doesn't make sense because they leave the mom alive for a little bit. So there's a lot of like I don't know how much of this is just like stuff that's trying to explain the story, or they just did that in there because it's a horror trope, and we're trying to add that.
And then another thing with the kid too, it's like, and the reason why I'm pushing this so much with the kid is on the beach when you first start kind of noticing like, okay, the mom freaked out way too fast for one, and then two, the mom is not good at talking. She even says like, I'm not good at talking because yeah, she's new to this shit. She's a tether, but the kid. They make sure to focus heavily on this. And I was actually like, okay, I know something's going to be up with this kid or those girls because the white girls that are complaining about him, they're like, yeah, most kids build sandcastles. You're building a tunnel. What the fuck are you doing?
Now that you mention it, Nick, when I think about it, her kids are tethers because the mom is a tether. So exactly. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but that's
fucking weird.
Yeah, but it's just weird. Like, you know, they all act a little different, but it's like I only feel like it's probably the son just because of the fact that it's like he's the one who's everyone's always looking at him weird. Even when he scares the sister, like for one, that wasn't a big comedy moment, but like he scares his sister. He's hiding in a shelf high, by the way. Like I don't even know how the fuck he got up there, and he goes boo, and he has a mask on, and then he just runs and locks himself in a closet, and it's like that's never explained.
Stuff in there, Nick. I think a lot of it is just to keep you on your toes and to keep it tense.
I guess, yeah. But it's just, I don't know, like, stuff like that. And the way they look at each other at the end, you would think he'd be scared, but he looked at her, like, lovingly, like, you know, I love you. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. The way he looked at her was, like, especially after you mentioned it, it's like, bitch, who the fuck are you? Are you my mom? Like, what is going on? Like, I just killed someone. Like, I saw a look in his face. Like, the look he gave was like, yo, you gonna make a move right now?
I don't know.
Am I gonna get my Xbox?
I kind of took the mask being pulled down, like I'm about to kill this bitch.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, like that's the one thing.
Oh, we're gonna do this at the start of Halloween.
Yeah, and have like
that's kind of how the foreshadow went down a little bit.
That's some of the horror elements in there.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's really interesting because like I'm never gonna watch the movie. That's why I'm here because I didn't see it.
Why?
But the way you're describing this and us, it's like this seems like it's at least it seems like it's more interesting or at least more thought than a run-of-the-mill horror movie. Because like the run-of-the-mill horror movies are just like, hey, some guy's killing me for a reason. This actually seems like there's a lot
we're
of
telling you like a lot
interesting
of
elements.
stuff that we figured out because we finished watching the movie.
Oh yeah, but even some of the other
Don't
stuff,
get me, Nick.
you going down. But even some of the other stuff you're talking about during the review, I'm like, this seems like even at the most, at least it's trying to be something different than the normal horror movies of guys killing things for reasons. Like it seems like there's a lot of elements, a lot of like thought put into the world he's created. So I'm like, I hope this does well because
Damn, Nick, I won't talk out of turn again, babe. Damn.
Yeah, don't talk out of turn or I'll choke you.
It succeeds at being something different, I think. Like, it doesn't just try. The movie succeeds. It doesn't succeed 100%, but for the most part, this movie is successful at what it's trying to do.
and
that is way better than most horror films.
I was just gonna ask you what you're saying, by the way, before you died.
No, I was getting choked out like a motherfucker. But what I was going to say is, it seems like a lot of this stuff was figured out kind of half-assedly towards the end. Like you see, like all this stuff sounds like very smart, and it's mostly because we've seen the movie already, and we can explain it to you a lot better from seeing the full project. But when you watch it, it's like you're just watching yourself out. This is all that stuff that we're talking, like the real deep, like psychological stuff, the stuff that really is like making you really interested in this film. That happens in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten into the most abstract part of the movie, like what I thought was probably the best part, but I'm sure that was when you, Ganja, and Nick were like, man, fuck this.
I never watched the movie.
What I was talking...
He said you, Ganja, and Nick!
No, he's like, you, Ganja, and Nick.
Hey, man, y'all didn't know I have my fucking tether with me, bro? What's up, man?
No,
man, don't even fuck with me. That's the reason I'm watching the movies, because that doppelganger shit fucks with me too much. That's...
Yeah.
But to me, like, putting on, like, my super artsy-fartsy hat, to me, the whole, like, metaphor of the movie was your creative side is a big part of you, and it's connected to you, and you can't kill it. Like, that's what I thought they were trying to do there. Like, that scene where she's doing ballet and she's trying to stab her, like, that was fucking cool, man. Like, that's for me, like, I never could have seen that coming. And it was scary, and it was fucking beautiful. Like, that's the type of surprises I want from a horror movie.
I knew that was going to happen,
that's why
too.
I left very happy.
Yeah, and the reason why I knew that was going to happen is, for one, it's like, you know, now we know, like, that the tether's different, whatever the fuck. It's like, of course, she's going to be not the best at fighting. You know, obviously, the main human one, the above surface chick, is going to be fucking good at ballet and be able to dodge all your shit like nothing. But the main thing here, too, that I had a massive fucking issue with is just the build up to certain things. And every time there was some build up, I was like, oh, about to come, yeah, and then blue balls every fucking time. Like, and I won't go through all of them because it'll be too fucking long, but I'll go to the end. Dude, that stairway scene, and I know it's artsy, and I was enjoying the art. Like, I love how, you know, the brightness and vibrancy would, you know, bounce off of the dirtiness and the grittiness of downstairs. And I was like, oh, that's actually pretty beautiful. And then the more you go down, the less vibrancy would be there, less saturation, the more gritty, the more dark, the more fucked up. But it didn't have to last 10 fucking minutes, y'all.
You know? Like, I thought that, like, the thing for me that was most experimental about the movie was when they really, like, pull back the curtain and they're like, all right, this is how the doppelgangers live. And they show them in that underground world. Like, the people on the roller coaster, dude, that was fucking cool looking, man. Like, that's freaky as fuck. Like, 50 people, like, crammed in a little room, like, miming all that shit. Like, that was scary, man.
It's actually really artsy, too. Like, I will say it's actually beautiful because, Alan, you know what it reminds me of? It's like what you want in video games. Give me more people to fight on Devil May Cry. Well, they did that in this movie. They got so many people, and it's like, I can't believe that the PS4 can handle this.
Shut up.
That's hilarious, man.
Y'all like that? I thought that was fucking dumb.
It was kind of dumb.
I get that.
But yeah.
Because the reason I say it was dumb is not like the way it was shot. Like, I get the ideas of like the choreography and the artistic stuff of getting all those people in one room and to actually act and do movements that matter to terms of the scenes that would be recorded later. But man, like, in terms of like trying to develop a plot or a mental, like, first of all, the plot didn't make sense in this terms because, one, we have the tether girl that somehow breaks free and just brings the main character and just makes her into the leader of this group. Wouldn't they notice that? And when they do notice that, they try to explain it as she becomes one of the leader of the rebellion and shit for them. But the thing is, there's no explanation of why they're down there, or how they're more made, because there's the kids there. So there's an implication that there's tethers that are constantly made. Is this a natural realm? Because they say this was invented by people or a program by the government or some shit. But there's no mention of like why this is being done. Was this always like this? Or has there always been tethers that are looking?
It's like because you don't want to explain too much, Ganja. Like the movie fucks itself by doing the twist.
That's the thing. Like you have to explain a little bit something because then the twist makes no sense. Because why did this one tether able to break away when we see everyone else can't? To the point that the son is able to get one to commit suicide. That it has to follow its leader so much.
I mean, I could tell you what I read into it as it meant. It meant like don't just live with your head down going through life. Like it's one of those things, you know, where the movie is very. Well, no, dude. There's a lot of like you have to put your own thoughts into it, right? I mean, am I wrong?
I agree with you. I'm talking more about somebody.
I mean, more talking like what's going on in the film and the storyline instead of like the artistic exploration that you're supposed to put into it. I'm trying to like explain like the actual storyline, why this makes sense in the universe, why people are doing this, why is there underground base full of tethers. Even if I'm trying to figure out, even like if it's my own implication of putting on the movie, it's hard for me to do that because there's no real thing in the movie that gives me a reason why this is happening. Other than somehow this one was able to magically do it and kidnap the other one, which I felt was very half-assed and rushed to the point that it makes the twist ruin the movie for me. Because after that, I was ready for this bitch to end. I even asked them, hey, there are credits at the end of this scene, because I'm ready to get the fuck out of this movie theater now after this ended. And you had the last bit where it shows everyone holding hands and stuff like that.
Hands across America, the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, which it foreshadowed in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Which is cool, but it's also doesn't have any type of end game, and it doesn't give off anything towards what was the point of it. Because when
that's what's so cool about an experimental film, man. It's not supposed to hand you all the pieces. You know, at least
it doesn't hand me any. I got a puzzle with a box.
I think it does, man. I don't think you're giving the movie enough credit. I think that there's a lot there. Like, if there wasn't anything there, man, we wouldn't be talking right now. Like, the fact that we're even talking about it right now shows that it is vague enough that you can make your own ideas, and that's. Man, that's
what I'm saying.
That's the shit that I always take back to the store is when I get my fucking item and there's a piece missing. I'm like, well, I want a refund. It's used. Like, this was on the clearance aisle. What the fuck? Like,
but even if you get that, this is always an issue when you have the artistic movies of the interpretation is, how do you know your interpretation is correct? You'd have to have the director come out and say, well, this is the interpretation, or this is what I was going for. You don't know that because Ganja had an interpretation of what the fuck is going on. You had a different interpretation. We don't know which one is right or wrong.
Yeah, so it's not a matter of being right or wrong.
It is a matter because then you can just start making shit up.
Because as a product, like I can, you know what my interpretation is? This is somehow connected to Freddy Krueger, and this is my favorite Freddy Krueger movie now. You know what I mean? Like, you know how dumb that fucking sounds?
Okay.
Like, I can make it be anything I want.
You can think that. People won't agree with it.
But see, that's the thing. That's what I was trying to tell you is that you're saying people can't agree to it. Well, that's why there needs to be a right or wrong. Because I could just say that this is a Godzilla movie technically because I decided to make up fucking Godzilla at the end. You know,
no, the live action version of Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, this is yeah, exactly, and that's what's so annoying about this is like.
And all that, like the movie in this first half is trying, like even up to the point that you get underground and you're having the character explain what's going on. It was really trying to push the point that we have a solid plot line that's going on here. We have something that's why this is happening. The character is possibly knows what's going on because she had access to the special little house where the first character appeared. There is stuff that leads to it that should have gone to like, okay, this is what's happening. This is why this is happening. That is just completely left to the window to the point that I felt like a lot of the vagueness was left just to leave vagueness and not to actually explain anything because it was easier to do the vagueness.
No, it's to make you ask questions. It's the same reason that Inception ends the way it does.
Okay, but Inception gives you an entire movie where that ending dream sequence doesn't. I was gonna bring it up, but I know Ganja hates Inception. The ending of Inception, every single plotline is completed. The reason that question is ambiguous is because the main character no longer cares. That's why it's left the way it is. But the movie is finished. Every plotline is resolved.
Yeah, I don't know. But
no,
I didn't watch it, so yeah.
In Inception, every single plotline is resolved. What is the point of this? To get the Inception is. Does it work? Yes. Does he get back to America? Yes, because he's on that plane that's going to America no matter what. Is he awake? That does not matter to the plot of the movie.
But the thing that frustrates me about this too is like, okay, well, let's not fucking Jesus Christ, you two.
Y'all arguing about stuff we in a whole other movie.
I know, like you're about to fucking like fight or make out over that shit. But the thing is, it's just like okay. So Julian, what you took from this is like, you know, it's experimental, and you know, I have my own version of the story, so now that means it's good. That's a good thing about it, right?
Well,
Just
I
yes
think
or no, by the way.
that I mean, yes and no, because I don't.
Good
I
fucking
don't
lord!
Because I don't think that I know
Get the
all
fuck
the
outta here.
answers, is what- No, but what I'm saying is, hear me out. Like, I don't think I know all the answers, but I think it's set up to be watched that way, where people can have discussions about it and discuss the bigger ideas that it's hinting at.
Because what it reminds me of, and this is something that you've literally told me with your own words, your own voice, your own Julianisms, bro. Like, we talked about Call of Duty many a times, the Black Ops stuff, and how horrible fucking storyline. Zombies is such a dumb fucking thing, right? But the game tells you, hey, there's a character named Samantha, you tell us the fucking story. And then the fans go in this weird fucking cyclical, oh, well, she's the one by the virus came out. Oh, it's a 115 pill. That's how the zombies came out and went to fucking Theater of the Dead. Blah, blah, blah. And it becomes a thing where now they can get away with telling us no story and say it's a story. Anything could be anything. We got fucking disco zombies now.
I think that you're right. You know, like they'll just establish a character. I mean, Overwatch does that really well, I think, where they talk about the characters and it implies a greater story through like one line. But with that movie, man, with Us, I think that they give a complete idea, but it's just vague about exactly what happens in certain parts to leave it open-ended, because it doesn't need to perfectly wrap it up at the end.
Yeah, but, you know, that's just one of the things that frustrates me. You know, as far as the fucking movie goes too, it's just like, you know, it's runtime, you know, certain things walking down. Oh, and then the trailer. This is one thing that I hate about the trailer, and I just had to put this out there. The way it spoils it, and the way it connects to fucking, like, not connects storyline-wise, but it reminds me of Handmaiden, is, you know, they show the girl choking the other girl, she falls down, blah, blah, the whole fucking thing. When the movie starts, you already start off with that little girl, so you know, oh, she's about to go get choked out, right? Well, all she sees is the girl in the mirror. There's no smile, there's no anything, it's just a girl in the mirror. And I'm like, huh. Okay,
yeah, but
they move from that.
A bunch of things, man.
Well,
Like,
no,
that
I'm
could
not
have
done
been,
yet.
like, a
God damn it,
nightmare.
I'm not done
Okay,
yet.
sorry.
So like 20 minutes later, they show another piece of it, and this time she turns around, she has an ugly, evil face. Ooh. Then you wait another 20 minutes, so you can finally get the full 10-second clip that I already saw in the trailer. And at the very end, they show her, she chokes her out, and now. And because the trailer, I already saw her get choked out. Which, by the way, being squeezed out hard will break your fucking larynx, and you'll not be able to talk. So guess what you'll sound like when you grow up? You'll talk like this. Which, by the way, the main bad girl talks like this, and you know that the girl who's innocent got choked out. So from the first 10 minutes, I fucking
hear her
know.
voice in the trailer. You don't hear that voice in the trailer.
Yeah, you do. She goes, she laughs. That's in all the fucking trailers. You hear her voice in the trailer. You hear it every fucking time.
Yeah, that's a good connection, Nick. I didn't even put the two and two together about her voice being like that.
Yeah, because she gets choked out. Yeah, but the thing is, the movie
obvious.
starts off not showing you the whole part that you already saw in the trailer. So it's like, you fucking assholes ruined your own movie with the trailer.
But Nick, to the movie's credit, we already agreed for part of the movie, we thought that little girl was the daughter.
That was only hope. That was like, I hope this movie isn't that fucking stupid. I hope the movie tries with this part, because if it does, it'll be a fucking Baron Sex, a buy, it'll be the best fucking movie this year. Please don't do fuck, they did it. And it's like, they fucking did it. And good movie. I had tension going on. I was wondering who's gonna die, but y'all had a good twist. That was great. Everyone would have loved the ending if you didn't tell us the fucking ending. Why did you tell us?
I think the movie itself tells you the ending.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
the movie tells you, and it's so annoying. It's just like the movie, like, why did it have to start off with her seeing herself in the mirror? Just have her walk towards it, and then boom, let's move on. And then, you know, maybe you'll find out, oh shit, what's gonna happen. Don't. And by the way, too, the trailer, you guys show it. That wasn't even a cool scene that she gets choked out. That shit looked kind of fake. You had to put that in the fucking trailer. You know why? Because you had nothing, movie. You fucking had nothing to put in the trailer because there's no action, there's no violence. If there was a bunch of death scenes or something, you could have put that in the trailer and then didn't ruin your fucking story.
I think that was in there because, and this could be one of my classic Julian stretches, but hear me out. If you look at the poster for something like Get Out, big eyes and very blue tinted, and what was that shot?
Bullshit. I don't know what.
Well, it was big eyes and blue tinted.
What,
just
Get Out?
like no, in Us. Like that scene with the little girl, like before she chokes her out, like they're staring at each other.
No, but it's like, what else? Like, what else is it like?
It's like in Get Out.
Oh, that's
like,
what you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like Get Out. It's like, you know, and the eyes with the tears. You know, it's like the same thing with Get Out. And I said that when we saw the trailer a while back. I'm like, everything's cool, but you know what I'm getting frustrated with already? Another person on the cover of this, on the thumbnail, crying with the eyes tear. And Daniel Kaluuya, that's all he had going for him, is I can cry on command. I'm fucking amazing, aren't I? Great. Can ya act? No? Then leave. Get out. Like, fuck. And that's why I get mad.
I don't agree with that, but...
Yeah, but like I actually like this movie. I'm going to ask you really quick, rating-wise, what'd you give it?
I'd give it like a low full price.
Okay.
You know?
So basically what we gave it, real rent it type kind of thing.
Yeah, rent it. Like I think that it's not for everyone. Like if you like horror movies, you will fucking love it. It won't be perfect, but you'll really enjoy it. But for everyone else, I think they're gonna get something different. Yeah,
and I really hope that they do make this into a universe. I mean, I know they already did. Jordan Peele already said he did. I hope it connects to Get Out later. I feel like it does, but we'll see in 2 years whenever that fucking sequel comes out. But
if it connects to Get Out is a prequel, and it happens a couple years before.
Yeah, which is cool. And Ganja, I'm sure you still feel the same way even after talking about spoilers, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, man. So it is what it is. Well, we again, the fuck out here. I know we're gonna talk about some more stuff. Ryan Washington wanted to come on, and why is Raheem talking about pussy mode?
That was a while ago when you guys said something in mode in regards to the movie.
Okay, cool. But anyways, with all that said, we're gonna get into the fucking after hours right after this. It's gonna be fun, but you know we do got some house cleaning to do. Or what do they call that shit? House cleaning?
Yeah, you got a house cleaning.
Okay, yeah. I guess some of those now. Housekeeping. There we go. Thank you so much, Alan. Why don't you do some housekeeping as far as that amino goes, good sir?
Alrighty then. If you type in Midnight Chat Tech into Facebook, all one word, and you see our orange M, you'll see embedded links to all sorts of places, which includes our Twitch. And one of the other embedded links is the Amino. The Amino is where I post all information for upcoming shows, after hours, midnight, midweek, all sorts of information there. There's also a 24-hour chat that there's still people there every now and then. It's still connected, so you'll be able to get, if you're just bored and got to kill time, that's always going on. There's also links to a podcast me, Ruthless, and Ganja do, A Little Fire Burning. The website there, we do the Illuminati podcast, whereas the actual website has a bunch of other content, so be sure to check that out. And if you're curious to hear me belligerently rambling about all sorts of stuff, I'm also on oneofus.net. Check out the Final Days of Gotham. We just did another episode. It's probably going to be up in the next couple of days. And there's a bunch of screener stuff, none of which I've actually enjoyed, which has been hilarious to do reviews for. So be sure to check that out.
Yeah, so with that said, it's time for us to get out. On three,
time for
two,
us to get out?
What? No, we're not doing. Oh, you motherfucker! You son of a bitch! Stupid. Jet, sorry you couldn't join us. Jet. Us is not that bad. I liked us.
Yeah,
I like you guys.
I thought that we. Thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, thank you. You're a great person. You gotta change that hat though. I don't know why you had that fucking hat, dude.
Because I'm pissed, man.
Okay.
I don't know what you want me to say.
That's okay. I'm pissed too. I don't like Donald Trump. Nice suits though.
Not really.
Yeah, not
like
really.
a child.
It's
like Will is fucking
the ties are good. I think he has his own type.
Motherfucker's like worth millions of dollars and can't get a good fucking fitted suit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like his pants.